What? You seen the new button? Tells you about how Hangout's leaving.
Yeah, that was on mine tonight.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. But I just noticed there's a new button over here that says Hangout. On air is going away later this year. For quick streaming, try, and you gotta pay for something else, I guess. So I don't know how to get rid of that alert. It's frustrating and it's annoying. Okay, there it's gone. We talk about guns every weeknight, and we've been doing it for a while. It's episode 840. So we're cruising on towards 850 and then 900, and if we keep doing the show. But it's Friday, and on Fridays we do a couple of things. We talk about the industry. We look back at the week, looking at the live news feed over on gunchannels.com, the accumulation of a bunch of people's contribution to a conversation about guns. We'll go back and start with last Saturday, and scroll through the week so we can see a summary of what's been going on. And today it's Free Patch Friday over at the Gear website store. Our store is one of the two ways that we fund our projects. So we keep our servers going. We keep the different, I don't know if people notice some of the downtime we had this week. There are people that take care of that kind of stuff. Those people cost money. And those are the kind of fees we pay so that we don't have long downtimes when there's issues going on out there. So those kind of bills get paid. And I would like to grow the projects. I didn't build everything to stagnate, and one of the ways that we bring in the funds so we can do that is through Patreon. A lot of people in here. So a lot of people in here have Patreon, so you can support anybody that you see in the daily gun shows here with a cup of coffee or something each month. To show some support. That money does accumulate quickly and gives us the opportunity to devote some resources. What are you talking about, Clover?
I don't see anything for DGS on the homepage of Gun Channels.
Oh, no. Yeah, I probably didn't post it. I've been trying to get the page scrolled down. It takes a while to scroll back to Monday, so I probably didn't even post the show on the main page yet. So thanks. We have a panel discussion. This show will probably be changing formats in a bit. It's getting to be that time of year here where the temperature is just killing me. In fact, if I was to screen share, you'd see that it is approximately 95 degrees outside, which means it's 95 degrees inside my house. And it's pretty tough. I don't like it. So thinking about changing the format a bit, changing the time of day. Always interested in feedback on that. But for now, it's a panel discussion, and we talk about guns. So we got people joining us from gunchannels.com. I'm going to go from my left to my right. We've got Clover jumping in from Texas. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
Why don't you tell us what temperature it is outside where you're at right now? Everybody's going to get this question, so start looking. What temperature is it inside? Comfortable? Miserable?
Oh, yeah. It's I don't know what it is inside, but it's comfortable. 77 outside. It's probably honestly no better than the AC works in here, and the thermostat and all on it. It's probably 75 maybe in here.
Yeah, that's what you'd probably want it to be anyway. Normally.
Yeah.
Dead Horse jumping in from Utah. What temperature is it up there?
66 degrees outside and 81 in my gun room.
81.
Yep.
Because of your computer or something?
Yeah, probably the computers and just heat sink. The sun's just barely going down right now, and just heat sink from my gun room's facing on the south wall, so just heat sink from the day.
Gary, jumping in from Kansas. Temperature you got up there?
75 degrees. Thanks for the invite.
You bet. Patriot jumping in from Michigan. Looks like a mitten. It's probably cold. Temperature up there?
It is 66. And thanks for the invite.
Yeah. So you're welcome. And then that brings us to Woods, who's even further north than anybody, and he's going to have the best temperature. What's your temperature?
61 degrees.
And then Snob jumping in from Oklahoma.
75 degrees also.
Yeah, see? So y'all give me grief a couple weeks back. Didn't take it all back because it's 95 degrees in my house right now. All right, so we'll try to move on. I'll try to move on from that, and we'll talk about what's been going on in the week. So anybody want to throw anything out there before we dig in?
Been an interesting week, I think. We had hangouts, live streaming, whatever, go down again on Ghost when Ghost was trying to stream, so we had to take his to Instagram on Tuesday night, which was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Did you guys like it?
What, using Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh, I get a kick out of Instagram. I like using Instagram. Yeah. I mean,
like
it's got its place. I don't want to just use Instagram. No way. But adding in Instagram here and there is I like it. I enjoy it.
I cut you off though. You were talking about the week. You having to use Instagram with Ghost.
Do what? I didn't get you.
Oh, I thought I cut you off because you were just talking.
No, you didn't cut me off. That's why I was saying it was an interesting week.
Okay.
With that happening.
So I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna go right to left. Snob, you like listening to live stuff on Instagram? Yes or no?
At times.
Woods.
Just Clover's one.
Patriot. It's a politician, but answer. Patriot.
It looks the same to me, but the text chat's kind of something to get used to.
Think about that. How it's anti-accessibility. I never thought about that, but it is. It's like
you got to jump down.
Accessibility.
Well, the thing is, you jump down and you put in something, okay, and then it goes up, just like any of the other ones with scrolls. But it's just there's a lot more information in between, so it might have your image.
Oh, dude, just so you know, it's the worst one. It's up on the screen as an overlay, and it's just a mess. And you can't read but 2 lines of it, and it disappears into faint. Like it just, there's other stuff above it, and I don't remember what's below. It's not good enough, but I don't like it.
And it's even worse. I'm not a fan of the text chat, but it's even worse if you've got multiple people on.
I didn't even think about that because it squishes the screen up and down, sitting on top of each other like Alice and the mom in the Brady Bunch looking at each other up and down. It's weird. Looking up his neck or down her shirt. It's inappropriate. Anyway, so I didn't think about that, Patriot, but yeah, Instagram is anti-accessibility. But otherwise, anything else about the Instagram lives?
It really it's once you get in, it's easy for me if somebody goes live because I click the notification that just comes up on my phone and it brings me straight to it. Now, if I back out of it, I can't get back in. And so if I hit the notification, it disappears on my phone. So it's like there's not an easy way of navigating back to it. But so if I'm in there and I leave, I'm gone. So.
On mine, you have to look at the little circles at the top. There's little circles for the what do they call live? That's not live stories. So they'll glow like a little ringy thing around them if they're live, but otherwise they're just stories. So imagine you would just scroll through wherever you scroll through people's stories, and you would discover if they're live, I guess. Okay. I doubt it gives you an indication that they're live if it's just a visual one for us.
Well, and Instagram is very visual, so it makes sense that the accessibility sucks for folks like
secondary, at least. Yeah.
It's actually, with the pictures and stuff, with the alt text and stuff, they actually are going a lot better because if you post a picture, say on Facebook, they don't have the same way of setting up alt text. So if you post from Instagram over, then some things carry over. So it does have its bonuses, but next time Clover goes live, I'll jump in and out and try to figure it all out. Hopefully I won't mess them up.
Yeah, moving on. Gizzard.
Yep. Gary, you like the Instagram lives?
Well, the only thing I don't like about it is you can't watch it on your computer, so you have to pick up your phone and watch it, and then you have to hold it up and down, and there's no good way to sit it on your desk where it'll stand like that. So you basically got to hold it for an hour.
I've
Bingo.
never.
Bingo. There's a little cord out the bottom of the phone. I don't have the little stands or nothing. So yeah, when you stand there like a chump holding the phone up and down the wrong way, looking at people's chins and stuff like that.
Well, I haven't tried it, but there's a plugin for Chrome I use for stories, and it's called IG Stories. And it does what it does is it gives you almost like a mobile experience through your Chrome browser. I haven't tried live, but I'm gonna see if that works for viewing live on a, viewing live on a PC.
Well, that'd be an interesting thing. But you know them, they're notorious for hacking AI APIs that pull that kind of stuff from them. They hate computers, which is fine. I mean, it's good to pull off of computers, I guess, at some point. But
yeah, that stuff, a lot of that stuff, it works today and it don't tomorrow. You know, you can't rely on it. But you know, at least while it's here, you can use it.
Dead Horse, Instagram Lives.
I like it for a little bit, maybe not like the longer hour things. I really don't get a chance to tune in for those full things. But when they're just relaying relevant information, like, oh, hey, just so you know, this thing just happened today, or, you know, I want to let you guys know I'm, you know, doing a live show tonight or something like that, or dropping a new video or stuff like that. I enjoy it, short 5-10 minute things. But when it goes over that, I have a hard time paying attention to my phone for that long.
I think it's for me, it's the form factor of the phone. My phone gets hot and I don't like holding that damn thing. Like it won't. I mean, if it happens to be live and I happen to be at 100%, I guess I watch them for a minute. But anyway, you were talking about the week. Was that it? Or I guess that was it. So anybody else want to throw anything in about the week? You bunch of deadbeats on the thing.
I really enjoyed the thing from the sporting systems where they're trying to raise some money for 1639.
Wow, the telethon? Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty cool. Well, I applaud those guys for trying to figure out different ways to help us here in Washington.
All right, well, if anybody else throw anything else, then they want it. Otherwise, we're going to start a choose your own adventure here. So panel and the people watching can decide we're either going to dig into this picture here, which is some kind of picture from, I can't remember where I found it. It's basically like a business motivation type of picture that we can dig into. And then, of course, we got the week. So which one are we going to do first? 1 for picture and 2 for dig into the week. Text them. That's what people do out here. And while we're doing that, we'll flip it over from stupid talk chat to regular chat and see what's going on. And we've got a bunch of people joining tonight. So we've got 19 people, 10 thumbs. Appreciate it. Nobody's... Okay, now we got some votes coming in.
I'd like to throw in a happy birthday to the Army guys out there.
Right on. We're older than you, so appreciate it. It's good to hear from our little brothers. Thank you. Actually, are we? Yeah, I think we're like months older.
Yeah. At 1775. Yeah.
I don't know if that counts. I think, yeah, even the real Army. I mean, the reserves are older, but even the real Army is a couple months older now. But yeah, it's also Flag Day, and it's also What's-His-Face's birthday. So wouldn't it be nice to be able to be proud of our What's-His-Face's birthday instead of like worrying about whether or not he's going to take stuff from us.
I could care less. I could care less that it's his birthday. So.
Well, I like to be aware of the president. I don't like to cause a bunch of fame for, we don't have a king or nothing, but at the same time, it'd be nice to be able to appreciate it.
Oh, it's nice. It's his birthday, I guess. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, it was a big deal.
If he was the champion of 2A, we'd probably be a lot happier.
I don't know that I would, to be honest with you.
All right, so now we're digging into the week. So Gun Channels is a community. We built this thing 6 years ago. Yeah, it's 6 months old. And done a lot to it. We're not trying to build a better mousetrap. We're just trying to create a place that's ours, that isn't on one of the platforms that's susceptible to whims and social pressures. So instead, we're not trying to build the replacement for any of that shit. Trying to encourage people to work together, collaborate, have conversations like this one, and all the other types of conversations that happen. One of the tools we do have over there, besides the calendar and the ability to build your projects over here in channels, would be the news feed. So whenever anybody wants to post something, an alert of a show they're doing or a video they've seen or start a discussion about something, anybody's welcome who's a member to participate here. And that's part of the reason we built gun channels instead of having a Facebook page or something else that's kind of temporary on the internet. We're website people. We built something that exists. And as long as the people are around to make it happen, it'll exist. And it doesn't matter even if we do lose ambition or something happens, lightning strikes, and we're all out of here. It exists. So for the rest of the time, gun channels will be on the internet's archive, the internet's history, the echo of whatever, this era of the internet throughout time. So all this contributions that people have made with their content and the stuff that they've shared over here will be here. So one of the reasons we do that is so that we can create some reciprocal links. We build a large project over here that has time on the clock. It's been here for a while. It creates reputation and establishes itself. It's a collaboration of efforts of a lot of people. It's something of a size and scale that's not duplicatable. Even if a Bloomberg wanted to create something like an anti-version of gun channels, it would be basically impossible. I don't want to say impossible, but it would be exceedingly expensive. So one of the reasons we built it with that in mind is so that it empowers all the stuff that people want to do, either their own projects or the stuff they link to, or just the topics that are interesting or important to people. All that stuff gets archived and created in a way that stays on Gun Channel. So thanks to the people that use this main feed, and on Fridays we go back and look at that main feed and see what people have been chatting about. So it looks like beginning of the month. So Ghost, who does a drill of the month on his channel, posted the winner, which was Rukan. Yeah, won the May one. So I guess he posted a video about that. What the heck is this one? My scroll wheel is not working good anymore. Dead Horse, you posted this thing about the 6-Day War.
Yes, I did.
And then it looks like that got all kinds of conversation going. Got a Volcano Squad in there because it talked about boats. He's a Navy fan. Anything to talk about there?
Just you should go watch that that 2-part documentary over on True News on YouTube. It's definitely each part's about an hour and 20 minutes, and it is done very, very well, and it's definitely worth watching. Most people don't know about this part in our history.
Right on. Yoder, Texas posts a nationally syndicated radio show out of Texas called Come and Talk It. It's been going on for quite a while, and Yoder's been putting his efforts into promoting that show every Sunday over on Gun Channel. So thanks for doing that. Listen to the show. It's a good one. When Matt had his 2A, what are they called? 2A...
Capital Rally?
Yeah, the Capital Rallies. Thanks to 2A rallies. That radio station helped to get the Texas one going and facilitated it. Had Matt on the show and stuff. So cool show. They don't know they're on Gun Channels, but they're a big part of Gun Channels. Then we got Patriot, was posting a little Sunday motivation. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Stepping out from the hangar, a 99-year-old Marine took a firm grip of his grandson's hand as a Marine from blah, 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 squadron of the Marine Air Corps Wing escorted them onto Camp Pendleton's flight line. So what is this? An old guy got back into one of his old planes or something?
Yeah, just spent some time out there, and it was his birthday, and they actually surprised him with honors and a cake and everything. So it was nice.
Yeah, 99-year-old Marine. Very cool.
Yep.
That's a video?
No, it's just a story.
Right on.
Yeah, there's a link, and it just goes to a story.
There's Scott asking about a lobby, and that was Sunday. So I guess there was some misunderstanding or something happened, but Dead Horse is going to be doing a reloading chat on Saturdays, and Honda is going to do his, what do they call it?
Conspiracy chat?
Conspiracy.
was going to say controversy chat, but yeah, conspiracy chat on Sundays. Angelina and that crew did the Intentionally Left Blank show, looks like, on Monday. I actually finally caught a piece of that one. Honda did, I don't know, she was talking about posting this. That was a Sunday post about a Monday show. Then there's Honda doing his conspiracy chat. Tardot's posting a link to one of his YouTube, his Gunstreamer videos. Very cool. Gunstreamer's better platform than YouTube. As soon as they have live, it'll replace YouTube. Rich White posting his Sunday show. Anybody jump in on that one? No? All right. So then Midnight did his show. Anybody jump in on that one?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of excitement about that show. Then you got Zorro doing it off air. Got Snob. He's in here chatting about this alien gear. What's so good about this holster?
I don't know. It's a pretty nifty little holster thing. I mean, especially if you don't know, what kind of position you want to carry in. It's pretty nice.
Is that the one that goes outside the waistband and inside the waistband?
Yeah, it's got like 4 different carry positions. They've actually got some more attachments you can get for it to carry it in other places too. But yeah, it was a neat.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, I thought that looked pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it's not probably the greatest at any one of those, but it's pretty good, at all of them. Especially if you're new to it and haven't decided how you want to carry. It's pretty neat.
What's with the thumbnail where you're like, huh?
I don't know. Because people lecture me about putting a picture in there.
Okay. And then what's this little scarecrow or something going on up here?
That's the alien. I just threw him in there because he's cool.
Okay. Clover's posted something about what you posted this early, I guess.
Yeah, just pimping the show for tonight early. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a plug. That's not the live conversation that's coming out Friday.
All
right. And looks like Dead Horse also posted to Midnight's thing. Probably didn't see the other one or something. Let's see. Patriot's saying something about Romeo and Juliet, but crazy. What's all that about?
I gotta remember. It was about Hinckley.
Somebody becomes fixated on somebody else, and so forth.
That was about Hinckley. If you you read that article,
how he ends up, just walking, and he's free now. After fixating on Jodie Foster and shooting the president and stuff.
Anybody listen to JFA?
No.
Okay. No. Early watch. So Dead Horse been efforting with getting early watch up and going again. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, run the show for a couple hours with Tony and David, and get the morning off with some news. And you're efforting to get the Early Watch Nation back together.
Yes, sir. That's the goal, is to share the 2A content and the 2A news to make each other aware of what's going on in states outside of our own.
Poet Ponery's posting something about file this under obvious. California sees surge in ammo sales ahead of new gun regulation.
That's the ammo tax and the background checks that takes place July 1st, I believe.
I mean, it's for safety. So, come on, California. Pitch in, it's for safety. Then you got a lobby going. And
yes, sir. We've had some pretty successful lobbies.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Thanks for putting the effort into that. Then we got Raphael posting some stuff at a Naval Aviation Museum he went to, some neat planes and stuff. He's been posting those a bit on the Instagram as well. Anybody watch this Jaeger video about the car magnets?
Yeah, I did.
And anything? Nothing. And Tony jumped in. Thanks for jumping in. It's late for you.
Yeah, I'm just coming back from the diversity shoot we just hosted up here at Gun for Hire Range in Woodland Park, New Jersey. So I'm on the road.
Dang. So it ends late, or is this like after everybody was hanging out
After everybody was hanging out, we went to a diner, Jersey. Um, and all of us hung out, talked about the thing, what was going on, what was good, what was bad, and what we're going to change for the next one. I just get my crew together and we have dinner. Some attendees come and sometimes it's just us throwing things up against the wall and seeing what sticks.
That's how you keep it going. That's pretty cool. It's how it evolves. We're looking at the week in news kind of over on the news feed over here on Gun Channels. I don't remember anybody posting anything about it, but I saw you guys had some bad news in Boise this week.
Yeah, we talked about it because we had a significant amount of new people. We brought in a bunch of new younger people and women in this particular thing. So we brought up the news and what's happening in Jersey and what those stupid bills we have going on mean. Dude, if you order no more online sales. You can only buy from an FFL. If you buy more than 1,000 rounds, your name gets reported to the district attorney and for investigation. Also, firearms ID cards that was, buy once in your lifetime, and unless you move, you don't have to pay for it anymore or do anything. Now they have a renewal every 4 years and a training class as a requirement. Every 4 years, you have to have a training class and pay a new fee for your firearms ID card. And a couple more things I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's nothing to keep anyone safer.
No.
Firearm storage. Firearm storage with no exemption for your defensive firearm.
Just got pounded. And it was so frustrating because I remember seeing the posts, a week ago, where you're hoping that some of the challenges were going to go to the Supreme Court and go the other way and repeal some of these infringements. Or is that still another layer that's...
We're hoping... Yeah. It's a lot of frustration living in Jersey, especially if you're... okay, the election for primaries to determine who runs in November was on the 4th of June. Less than 8% of the registered voters came out and voted. Less than 8% of registered voters. So what do they do a week later? They throw more gun bills out there because they know no one's voting. No one's paying attention. No one cares. I'm like, if we voted as a block, we could have changed the entire political landscape of New Jersey in one primary.
Yep. It's like when you play Othello or one of those games where you make a move, but then there's consequences, and sometimes if you make the right move, the playing field kind of sways your way in a sense, right? Like you get that momentum, and they back down, and now they're not pushing your way, and unfortunately you get apathy, but ideally you get people kind of motivated, and then they start pushing the other way. At least that's what we're hoping. Yeah,
the crazy part was this. And I hate playing but let's go ahead. If we could have somehow set word out, gun owners, get to the primaries, these are the people to write in. The entire New Jersey Assembly's up for re-election in November. We could have changed the entire assembly in one fell swoop. Gun owners have such apathy that is ridiculous. Again, 1 million firearms owners, nobody votes. There less about 480,000 people voted in the entire state.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're digging through the week here. What day was this? This was Monday. Blue Steel posted this video about Jaeger's talking about the magnets in the car. So people mount like a magnet coated with either rubber or Kydex. You guys have any opinions on the magnets in the cars type of thing?
I don't like the idea in a car, but in a home or in an office or a business, I think it can have a place.
I'm with him. I don't like the magnets at all.
I used to work with the guy with magnets, and my problem is that they can magnetize. Just like if you have a screwdriver and you rub it on a magnet, it'll magnetize the screwdriver. Same thing happens to anything metal, so there's that issue. So if you live like, we got staples and just metal fragments and stuff, and you ever drop your gun, and then my vehicles at least, down where my feet would be, there's odds are I got some kind of metal junk, enough to cause a problem with a firearm. So that's one concern. But then that magnet's nowhere near strong enough to stop it if there's even just a quick breaking of it, right? I'm going to mute you for a second, Tony. Unmute yourself if you ever want to jump back in and talk to me. But if you just braked fast, like the magnet will let go of that thing, and now you got a loose gun rolling all around.
Yeah, that's my concern with them is you got a gun out of a holster that's going to go flying if you roll it or something.
I don't know. I've seen some that are pretty doggone strong, and then to the argument about the magnetization, and don't get me wrong. There's good ones out there, and then there's just cheap ones out there, and it kind of depends. I guess it depends on which one you get, but some of the better ones have a coating on them. And I think that's supposed to inhibit the magnetization somehow.
It can't.
It's not going to.
You run a magnet over any metal, and it's going to start polarizing it. It's just the nature of it. I mean, you can undo it. You got to do it, and it's just annoying.
Well, I've got the tactical walls one, and it has like the little plastic case it fits in or whatever. But I wouldn't have it in my vehicle, I don't think. I mean, it's pretty neat to be. Actually, Stacy has it on her side of the bed, mounted to the side of the bed frame. Pretty neat for that, but as far as I don't want it flopping around in the vehicle if it rolls over, because rollovers are pretty violent, and I don't care how strong it is, it ain't going to hold that gun in a rollover, not a full-size gun.
Heck no. And then his point is also that the concept of taking your gun out of your holster is dumb. It's just an unnecessary, dangerous step. And the worst part, he mentions, is if you forget it, because you're going to forget it at some point. You've left your gun just sitting in a magnet, probably, because most people just put those on a console or something, kind of in sight potentially. Plus, you left your gun. It's just a bad habit, general.
Well, one thing that's a little different from that is that alien gear thing that I did the video on. It actually came with a mount for your paddle holster. So if you're wearing a paddle holster, you press a button on the side of it. You can release the holster off the paddle and leave the paddle on your belt, and it will snap on that mount that you can mount under your dash or wherever you want to mount it, and it actually snaps on it. But it's actually a mount you actually have to screw and bolt in, not just screw on or stick on. I mean,
and also it's got a retention strap or something. So now, even if something happens, it's gonna stay, or is it still a magnet? Because that's more like it clips into something.
It clips in. It's not a magnet at all. It's a mechanical latch.
I don't know. I guess Honda got plugged for wandering around with his finger on the trigger or something.
Right.
Kind of a video.
Yeah.
Then Frankie posted Intentionally Left Blank going live. Like I say, I got to see a portion of that one finally. I always miss that one. I think I'm in Matt's chat, and he always runs later and later. Got some new members as we see, but I'm not sure if everybody sees those. That might be because I'm an admin. Let's see. Then we had the Daily Gun Show on Monday. A couple of pictures of their new Bishop posted some pictures of their new 3D printer, doing some creation of products that way. Looks like we have Patriot posting his what'd you get, the new holster?
Oh yes, I have a 1791 for the Colt New Agent, the compact 1911.
Is that an inside?
No.
It's outside the waistband.
Yeah, it's a outside the waistband.
Left-handed then?
No.
I don't see how this is outside the waistband. Doesn't that look like an inside the waistband, right-handed to me?
The paddle on the backside of it, isn't there?
Oh, maybe it's just a screen capture of a different holster. I got you. It's a different holster in the screenshot is all. Now I see that it's an outside. That's easy. Obviously.
Oh, okay. That was an inside for the 6 hour PT38.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was then in the screen.
Okay, because
you just picked that as your thumbnail is all, yeah.
Okay, it grabbed it from the center of the video then.
So then, you like that holster?
Yes, both of them. I'm really impressed with that company. The leather's thick. I've blocked the Colt 4 times now, and it's about right, I think. Because it doesn't have any retention besides just the the pressure of the leather and stuff.
So I'm gonna go left to right because now this leather holster trend is going crazy. Tony, I muted you. If you can unmute if you're driving, I don't know if that's pain in the butt. What's your feelings on leather holsters?
Leather holsters have a shelf life. I mean, unlike Kydex. I have a hybrid holster from Crossbreed, but I make sure you check it out and make sure the the leather doesn't flop down into your trigger guard. It requires more maintenance than Kydex. If you want it, just keep up with it. That's the way I see it. But there's better materials out there. Just leather looks cool.
Damn, I don't think I could have said it more efficiently. So, Snob, you're a fan of these leathers? What's your opinion on the leathers?
I've got several leather holsters. I normally don't carry them just because I'm fat and I sweat. So,
see, exactly. That's the thing. Maybe it's because of our more tactical nature that we deal with these things. They get all sweaty and then they're soft. I've never liked them. As soon as I figured out you can't reholster them. Woods, leather holsters?
Yeah, big fan. I still like the feel of plastic, but everybody's got their own.
Yeah, I hear you. Patriot obviously likes them. You bought one? Gizzard, leather?
I don't have any leather. I have a hybrid, but I prefer the Kydex personally.
Is it a comfort thing, a retention thing, a reholstering thing, a longevity thing? What's your preference? Why your preference?
Well, I'm kind of like Snob there as far as the being fat and sweating stuff. That's the only good thing about a hybrid is you got the soft leather up against you and then the Kydex on the outside. But still, for longevity and for reholstering and everything else, Kydex just works better.
That horse you've been carrying for a while. What do you think about leather?
I love leather. Sometimes they can leave a little bit of a yellow stain on your skin. Makes it look like you have jaundice or something. But other than that, for comfort, I don't think they can be beat. So I like Kydex too, but if I'm going to go hiking or something and have something up against me all day, I really do prefer leather.
Yeah, I take it as leather. I mean, I'd rather wear a pair of leather, hiking boots than Kydex. But yes, the whole reholstering thing is kind of a pain, but
oh, Jeff's out there. He says he's used the same leather inside the waistband for over 30 years, still in good shape. Crazy. I agree with you. I think that I've just seen too many of them. Mine get soft. I think one of the first ones I bought that was for my stupid Springfield XD. I wanted to buy basically the same one that whatever you call that cant. I call it the FBI cant that Patriot had on that holster. And I bought a used one, and it was so flimsy. I was like, "Oh, this is why people don't like them." It was like a well-worn wallet, It was nice leather, but I couldn't reholster. It'd flop over, and I had to poke the muzzle into me. And I'm like, I do not want to be poking the muzzle into me, probing for the, this moist leather flap. Well, not moist, but soft leather flap in a LFI, right? A lethal force situation.
that leather is pretty thick, though. It's the thickest one I've found. I mean, I have several other ones that I won't wear anymore, just because of that reason where they just get so soft. But I've had the one for the SIG. I got that on my birthday in December, and I've wore it every day, and it's still, it feels stiff. I mean, it's nothing like any of those Bianchi or any of the other stuff I ever tried.
I'm gonna go point at this screen freeze of Patriots video, and sometimes when they have this extra piece of leather here, I've seen them where they put metal in there, so that there's like a spring steel metal, little flat thing sewn into the leather. You don't see it at all, but there's just no way for you to crush there's always going to be an opening, and I guess that's probably an option too if you like leather so much. Anybody have concerns that's a leather fan about the abrasion to the finish? Usually those leathers, one of the big reasons I think people jumped to Kydex was when they saw that it barely wears your trigger guard a little bit compared to like the the slide and everything that leather can start wearing on.
Leather holsters vary from manufacturer to manufacturer. I've had one leather holster that's really it's not hard on the finish whatsoever. It's really, really nice and smooth and slick inside. And I've had other leather holsters that are rough like sandpaper inside of them. So I think it really depends on the company.
And it's not like you can't get a bunch of sand inside a Kydex and just destroy a finish on a gun too. So Kerry just jumped in too. Thanks for joining. We're just kind of running through the main news feed over on Gun Channels, looking at some of the news from the week.
Hey everyone.
You're in Colorado right now?
No, I'm in Washington. I'll be in Arizona next week teaching, and Colorado the week after.
Okay. And then I noticed that 45, what the heck is calling himself on YouTube? Nightprowler, or Guy 45 ACP on Instagram. If Honda's out there, I think he's still in Colorado. So we got a couple of people in Colorado right now. But the Bishops had posted something here about firearms distributor files for bankruptcy. Says sales dropped because of the Trump presidency.
Oh, bullshit.
Democratic presidential or whatever, because he was voted in over Hillary. I didn't read this article, but we can probably judge a book by its cover. What do you think? Is this a legitimate excuse for going out of business?
No.
Overall, probably not. But I mean, the Trump slump is a real thing.
I mean, I guess, but just seems like such a wimpy excuse to go out of business.
Where were they out of? Does it say?
I didn't read what's been here.
I think the slump has been more of a problem in typically, pro-freedom, pro-gun states than those that are a little more oppressed.
Well, this actually says a firearms distributor filed for bankruptcy.
Oh, a distributor. Wow. Okay,
So
that's a whole different
So then
ball
it
of
was
wax.
it was a bump stock manufacturer.
Happening?
You know,
I think we're hearing some radio show or something from somebody, Carrie.
it's not me.
Oh, is that probably this website? That's me. It's that stupid website. Sorry. So,
Then it was probably a bump stock manufacturer or something like that. But the reality is that Trump, other than the bump stock and potentially the suppressor crap, he has nothing to do with what the states are legislating individually. So for people to sit there and blame Trump for their woes for poor business practices is really irrelevant. So if they're really wanting to point a finger because they can't take responsibility for poor management of their business, and it is in fact because of legislation, then they need to be looking at their state and not blaming the president for that. And mind you, for those that don't know me, I'm not a Trump fan. So
Well, I don't know what the argument was. If it's legislation, then yeah, I would partially agree. But I think that more so it's about the apathy that was created more than anything.
Or people got comfortable. Is it just that people got too comfortable thinking, oh, we got this super big, like the NRA extremists, right? Oh, he's totally pro NRA. He's kissing our ass and blah, blah, blah. And so they got comfortable not thinking that they needed to worry. And that under Obama, and because there was so much, even though he was pretty not as restrictive, was it one of those things where people are thinking, oh, he's gonna, that fear, right? Because like bump stocks or ammo, like all those sales go through the roof the minute he's getting ready to get banned, so was that perpetuated for 8 years because of Obama and now it's not? So is it psychologically that way?
Oh, I wouldn't put it past them, the distributor itself they were banking on Hillary winning. They dumped a bunch of money in a bunch of ARs.
Yep.
And then afterwards they couldn't move them. I mean, that's what I'm looking at.
Hey, my man, how you doing?
That's you're on a car, but that's exactly what Jeff Knox said out in the YouTube chat, is that this guy probably invested heavily, or this distributor invested heavily in lowers in anticipation and then hanging. Yeah. And doesn't have the ability to weather the storm, because it's not like pieces of metal shaped into the most modular rifle made aren't going to be sometime.
Well, you still got to address the issue of why did they not sell? Because there wasn't the surge that they was expecting. Sure, but I mean, they could have dropped them to cost. There's all kinds of factors, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's not I totally agree. You can't blame just Trump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
manufacturers
Oh, I
gotta
bought so
have.
much tuna fish and it's going to spoil. Now I'm out of business because the tuna
Right.
fish only had a lifespan. Like, come on, they
That's
could
a
do.
lack of planning.
Yeah.
That's a lack of planning, and if you
Yeah.
don't understand that things are going to change and be mobile about things, it's your fault.
Mhm.
I wouldn't blame, any company can go out of business.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
I may
You
be
got
new
to
to the
know what
gun
you're
community,
doing.
but I'm not new to business. And I've been a successful business owner and entrepreneur for 25 years. And I can guarantee you that if I had 10 minutes with that guy, I could probably tell you exactly why it was his business failed. And I can guarantee you that it has nothing to do with gun legislation whatsoever. That's piss poor business planning on that guy's part.
I think I agree, and I think that's probably what we're all at, right? So,
Yeah.
what about the concept that this guy's laying it out as like a gun thing, a political thing? I mean, to me, it seems like such a cowardly thing, but I think there's probably consequence, right? In the grand scheme of things, this is something like the antis are going to bite on and
Yeah.
use it, right?
Yeah, and so that's then you start questioning, was he, how moderate was he? Was he, a center to left, liberal gun owner and just looking for an excuse to like poke at him? Is it I'm a great conspiratorial person, but I highly doubt that he's a plant or something, some crazy, or a troll. But it goes fundamentally down to victim mentality, right? I mean, that I think that they, and I'm going to speak in generalities, so nobody come at me. But I think that on the right we see a lot of finger pointing at the left for victim mentality, and because it is there, I'm acknowledging that it's present, but there is a level of that does go on the right as well, and that I think this is a great example that he's looking for an excuse for just his shit choices in life.
There's a lot of that goes on the right.
Absolutely.
I would be interested in doing a search on who's doing videos about this and are going to extremes about it.
Maybe just to put a voice out there that says, this isn't something that we condone or we accept as like a real consequence. Like this guy's just, to put it out there that this guy's just grasping at some.
I'll do it. Stop being a little bitch and own your responsibilities.
Yeah. Hey, nobody asked you to buy a buttload of mega lowers and bump stocks, and then can't get rid of them. Even if you sell them at cost, no one wants to buy them because they're overpriced.
Well,
I mean that happens.
Or be smart like TJ was, the tactical shit. He remember Tony, the thing he talked about, all those bump stocks he bought in that video that went viral of them being burned or whatever, confiscated. Those were all his. Those thousands and thousands of them, and he turned it into a marketing opportunity.
There you go. Yeah, make lemonade. You might not make money or profit, but at least you can make some salvage something out of it, right? And
yeah, exactly.
Head up. Go ahead, Tony.
And times are changing, man. And if you don't change with them, I mean, they say distributor, but what distributor? How long were they open?
I got questions.
Did they modernize? Do they have an update website, or do they have a crap website? Do they have good? I mean, it's just a whole lot more things than, well, Trump became president and nobody bought a gun.
So, Tony, funny you mentioned that, because one of the reasons I'm going down to Arizona is I'm getting ready to launch a beta. This is my beta launch test market. AZ Firearms is my test market for a project that will focus on this, particularly in the women department. But that's you guys have heard me kind of dance around that conversation, but it's coming closer to fruition. So stay tuned for that, because I've been identifying this from the business side, and this is why I'm so honed in on this one. I came at the right time, I guess.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you said this you're doing this on the 19th, you said?
So on the night, well, I don't have a calendar in front of me. The 19th.
Well, yeah, next Wednesday is 19th.
So next Wednesday, that's actually a We the Female. So, We the Female teaches overviews of situational awareness, de-escalation, and overview of lethal, non-lethal self-defense options for women. And then we connect people where they need to be connected based on what they want to learn. So Cheryl and the gang are hosting me for that down there. But this other deal, that's not announced. This is a totally private until I go formal launch with this whole program. That's I'm discussing it a little bit, but I'm not giving any details or what that's about or anything until we actually launch it.
Right on.
Stay tuned, kids.
So next up is Patriots posting his patch panel, which is growing. Now, this is a welcome mat, correct? This is basically a segment of carpet that's designed to let the water drain off with snow or whatever, and that gives you kind of ridges of the poopy material, and it allows the Velcro to stick, but it relatively inexpensive and nice and rigid.
Yeah, it's a pretty thin one, and I bought it at a box store, but it's 3 foot by 5 foot or 4 foot. I don't know how big it is. I think it's 3 by 4. But
It's it makes the patches look little, so it's pretty big.
Yeah, it covers one section of the wall, but it is getting full.
Yeah, it looks pretty impressive. All the patches are in the right orientation. Good job. If you guys don't know, Patriot is blind, so he's doing that all. Well, I guess one of them here sideways, but that's a preference thing, I guess. That's the AK art one. There's really no up and down because it's the art from a playing card, so there's really no up and down.
Okay.
Then we had Dano post in the chat we had with KD and Ken. So let's see. We had Snob was at that event. Tony was at that event. Carrie was at that event. And we were all watching it on social media. Want to take a minute and talk about quick after action of the first train and learn?
Who wants to start with that?
I almost died. That's my part. You guys go now.
Well, since I was like literally hit it off, I guess. I mean, I'm the one that kicked the whole thing off. Maybe, I guess I could. So the event itself was incredibly unique. And as far as I understand it, again, for any listeners out there that know, I'm pretty green in this culture, but I don't believe that there's anything that's ever been done like this before. So correct me, gentlemen, if I'm wrong about that, or ladies.
Oh no, unprecedented. Definitely. That's the first.
Yeah. So it was a 3-day event, with the first day being speakers in the industry, in different aspects of the industry, advocacy, social media content, how to develop brand relationships, and what's and how to be an educator, what's the difference between influencing and advocacy, and these types of things. So I was very, very humbled and honored that Katie asked me. I spoke on advocacy. So, and then I get up there, right? Because some of these people I didn't even know. And I was like, I'm like, where the hell did he find me with these people? Because I had no business being, put with these people. I was very, very honored. Because these were, it was like TJ from Tactical Shit, and, Curtis from VSO, and, Dustin Pluth, and, Ken, and, it'd be just extraordinary people in this industry doing amazing things that are wonderful educators. And so that's what kicked the night off. Were those of us that were speakers, and then the next day was all training, and
it sounds like it was no joke. You got there in the morning and you didn't end until evening.
No, I was like, so to tell you how long it was, I forgot that I had left my car at the farm and then got back into town with Katie. I'm like, gosh, I'll just leave it there and get a ride. That I had driven there, because it was, so we got there. I think it was, I don't know what, Tony, what was it? Your guys, I know that there's more than one.
We met at like 7:30 at the store, didn't we?
Yeah, it was like 7:30 in the morning, and then we got out there, and we did training. Half of us were with Ken, and half of us were with KD. And what was really cool about it for me, so I had never, this is how green I am, right? I had never drawn from a holster. So, of course, that being the added benefit of that for me was I got pretty much one-on-one education from Dustin while Ken was teaching. So I'm not sorry that I was the greenest one out there, for sure. But but what was really cool about that is, so you literally had, me, who had never drawn from a holster, to people like Will from, Gladiator 6, or, Tony, or, Mike Woodland, these people that are, competitors and serious training. And we were all doing the same exercises and the emphasis on those fundamentals. And it didn't matter how much experience you had, or how many times you had shot or whatever, that everybody needed to be focusing on those basics. And that was so cool to see. And just that everybody was so supportive of everybody else. It was cool. It was a really, really cool experience, until that shit just got too muggy and hot. And I don't mind muggy and hot, but there's lack of wind out there, because Tony can tell you got a little stuffy.
All you people from up north whining about the heat.
I don't mind. That's what I'm saying. I'm buying property in Arizona and in Florida. I love the South. I love the heat, and humidity doesn't even get me. But there was no wind through there at all, and I had to phone it in about 45 minutes early. So
I'm pretty sure Tony can attest to it. It was a little warm.
It's a little toasty, yeah.
Yeah, I suffer from heat exhaustion and also diabetes thing. Blood sugar was off the chart.
Yeah.
But I was out there until noon, around that 1 o'clock break. That's when that thing hit, and things went real sideways for me. Will Gladiator 6 saved my bacon.
Man, he's a beast, isn't he? That dude is no joke.
Oh yeah, not at all. So we talked. I actually did an interview, put it on IGTV, and I talked about it on the podcast. But my whole thing was, all right, I suffered that incident, and that took me out. So I missed Corinne's presentation about firearms and recoil management. And I waited in the vehicle for like an hour and a half, drove back to my hotel, took a cold shower, drank lots of fluid, and drove back and jumped right back into training. So, but we were out there from 7 a.m. until after 11. Yeah, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like midnight when I got back to my motel.
Yeah, because I went out to dinner with Trill Toya and all those wackos, including Will, and we're all at the Waffle House. And let's just say that was the most heavily armed Waffle House in the state of Missouri because there were 8 of us.
Waffle House except for y'all. I love that. That's awesome.
Oh, it was packed. Everybody had like something, and then I had my vehicle backed up, and we had like 4 ARs in the back. So yeah, if anything would have went down at that Waffle House, it would have been like Alamo.
And then the next day, drove off the bridge. I don't know who that was.
Wow.
Somebody drove the night. We're sitting there like whoever it was. We were leaving at the end of the night. Katie's like, "Why aren't we going anywhere?" We look over like somebody had driven off the bridge. We're like, "Oh shit!" Jesus. We just want to go home, and then So
it was.
Did you go out, Tony? Did you guys do the instructor side of that or what?
We did the instructor side, and it was a lot. Oh yeah, it was. Well, it didn't turn out to be that. It was a lot of how to shoot videos, how to get out content, how to make it look good, what to use, that kind of instruction, which was, again, awesome and something you don't see. It's something that's like a firearms training thing. And then we all got together and collaborated and went from group to group, and we did interviews with each other about what you do, where you come from. So it was a real togetherness, educational weekend. I mean, I can't say a bad thing about it, except like, could we have it later in the year? Because man, that was Africa hot.
It was Africa hot, and it's the. I know that there was some conversation. Ken, I told Katie because Katie said, yeah, Ken says to do it in October, and I was like, is he going to host that shit so you can just roll up at noon before you're supposed to speak? Because it takes a lot to put those things together, and October would be a nice time to do it. I think April or October, definitely. May was a little toasty, but I know he's going to do it next year. But I can tell you, for anybody that's listening to this, y'all are fools if you don't go do this again, because I know he's raising the price, but it's not going to be. It's still. I'm a professional speaker. I know what I get paid to speak. And I know what these people charge for these conventions that I go to that are, 1 day or half a day for these speakers. And for what he charged everybody for 3 days, I can tell you he footed this out of his own pocket, hands down. It was just amazing. The amount of education, knowledge, camaraderie, just everything for the price that he charged for that. He did this because of a passion and desire and calling. He didn't do it for money. I can tell you that.
And that's what's neat about it too, is that you can go to these things and it's like, okay, we're going to have this schedule or whatever, these speakers, and then at 8 o'clock it'll end, or maybe we'll have drinks or something. Even the Gun Rights Policy Conference, for the most part, is scheduled, and then everybody kind of breaks up. But with the way that you had it out at the ranch with the eating and everything, kind of like you say, he built it so that it would create all the times for you guys to chat and network and get that camaraderie that you can't get if you just sit in a lecture hall and then go to lunch and then go home.
I hit a dead zone. I'm sorry. So I don't know if you guys said it. Yeah, sign up for it. I mean, just the Friday information that was given to us, just that Friday, was worth the money for the entire trip. All right, now you.
He's right.
Yeah, okay. Now you throw in what 15 hours of training the next day, and then more training on Sunday. You're nuts not to try to jump in on something like this. I took a Costa class. I took a Costa 3-day class.
Hello.
It's not counting ammo and everything else. So yeah, man, it's really worth
anywhere. I get
going there and learning a lot of things.
$300. Oh, sorry, I'm on a delay. I apologize. I didn't mean to cut in.
No, that's fine. It's just because you're both on cars. Probably you just get a little bit of the lag. Go ahead, Carrie.
Sorry about that. I get paid anywhere from $150 to $300 to speak at conferences, and these conferences, anywhere from 6 to 9 hours. And Katie charged $150 for a 3-day event. So, and I'm no TJ. You know what I mean? I'm no Curtis Hallstrom. So I can imagine, or Dustin, right? I can imagine what these guys would get paid for their time, because they're clearly in this industry. So, and all of us volunteered our time to go out because we believed in this, and I have a feeling that's probably going to be the way it is next year. I've heard rumors of who he's not rumors. I've heard, because it's not a rumor. I heard it from Katie. Discuss who he's been discussing coming out next week. Oh man, I'm telling you, you guys don't show up. I'm gonna call you all names. It's just all there is to it. I'm gonna publicly shame y'all if you don't show up next year. If he ends up pulling some of this off, I'm like, oh my god.
Right on. So I had Katie and Ken on, and we chatted for about a half an hour or so, just to do an after action. So I could get those guys to chat about it. Obviously, the event was successful, and it was something like 50 attendees. So I can't even imagine what they've got to absorb and deal with. But then, of course, some of the things that happened just after Tony's adventure, these guys they're obviously not removed from those situations, so they've got a lot to absorb. So anyway, I did a half an hour with those guys. What I'd like to do, since we've got 3 of you in here that attended, I'd like to offer, anytime you'd like to use my platform, or if I can just help coordinate getting some of the alumni together to do a bit of an after action chance to chat. I mean, I wasn't there, but I'd like to say, if I can help coordinate something like that, I'd like to put the invitation out there, because I'd definitely like to see the event grow and be as successful as possible as it continues on.
God, I think it'd be fun to have us all together in a chat. What do you guys think? I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, if I wasn't in the car right now and it kept cutting out. Yeah, I'm in a vehicle, so I'm cutting in and out. So I really don't want to mess up, the flow of the show. But yeah, there was a lot going on, from just the sponsors themselves. Century Faxon Firearms, Century. I mean, they just had proper wear. They had a lot of everything there for you to get hands on. So for the guys that do media, it was like, after that instruction thing on how to video and how to just keep it simple and put something out. And it's like, okay, this is this firearm. This is what it does. This is me firing it. Boom. That's a video. It gives you material. It gives you a way to promote your brand. And they just simplified it. And probably a lot of people don't want to, quote unquote, mess up when they make a video, or they don't want it to sound bad or look bad. Look, get over it. You're going to sound bad and look bad when you first do everything. Keep working at it.
Except me, bitch. I'm perfect.
Yeah, but of course, babe. Everybody else, dude, I have privatized some of. I privatized my YouTube videos that were so bad. My friends still goof on me for some of my first reviews. They're privatized right now. You won't see them.
Snort.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it is horrible, and it's like, take that chance, get out there and swing. Now, I stepped away because they were so bad that I was like, man, I'm not getting any better. I'm like, dude, you did 3 videos.
Yeah, mine are horrible. Because I'm just starting into mine and that whole thing, and my whole concept is completely different. But what was also cool about that, you guys, that as I'm sitting thinking about this, because so you had like people out there that were, beasts on the social media side, right? I mean, we had like, Sean Heron was there from Gun Websites, and like Curtis and some of these people, and everybody was so encouraging and helpful of everybody else. Like I know there was a couple times I'm like, hey Sean, can you record this for me? So I've got his eye, right, who's incredibly tuned in to doing this, like doing my, like he just on my iPhone, which by the way, these iPhone 10s are legit for content. So that Corinne Mosier where I'm shooting the John Wick gun, that was done on my iPhone, but I had Sean recording that, and he knows what he's doing, right? So you have these people that you would typically never have access to even not just collaborate with, but that were helping you, and everybody helping each other with it. It was just really cool. It was really cool.
That's the kind of subtle thing too. When somebody can take your phone, your tool that you're familiar with, and record you like that, and then you get to see the finished product, and you get these little subtleties, like, oh, they only went from here to here, but I got they held the camera so that I could see the target.
Right.
Those little things are neat. Like you see, some people just have been doing it for so long they don't even know to explain some of the little nuances.
Exactly.
How's this? Again, Sean videotaped me shooting that high point, right? The high point in the bullpup chassis. Videotaped it. I thought over 8,000 hits on Instagram, right? That far outreaches any of my other videos that I did. So a week later, I'm back in Jersey. I set my thing up and I recorded it and I put it on Instagram. I got like 500 hits, and I realized just the difference between what he did and I did with the same phone. I'm like, all right, I got to step up my game. I have to do this. It's lighting. It's everything. And I'm like, I learned.
Yeah.
And I'm going to improve, and I'm going to keep working at it. I've made some other videos that I haven't put up because they weren't perfect. And that's probably one of the dumber things ever. Of course, you'll work there. My podcast, when you listen to the very first time I started, and you listen to what we're at now and the episodes we're at now, it's night and day. And it's because of practice and time. And also, of course, constructive criticism from friends, family, and listeners. But you're not going to get any of that if you don't try.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, I just got a text message from Shanga, 77 Solutions. I'm going to see if I can get him to chime in on this as well, because he was there. I have to tell you, I was really impressed with him. You guys remember, he's the guy that does the holsters.
Holsters, yep.
And, I was still drinking I had my bitchy pants on, my coffee wasn't done. And it wasn't, I certainly wasn't being rude, but I was not engaged with people too much at that point, because it was like, 8 a.m. by that point, and they had him roll up. But to watch him light up talking about, this is an art for him, right? It's a passion. And it was just, I learned things that I never thought that I would have learned, be given a shit about, about holsters, because I'm not a gun, I'm not a gun girl. So they serve a purpose for me. So he completely engaged me, just by watching his passion for, talking about, how he does this and why. Anyway, it was just, I might not be articulating it as well as I might.
No, you are. Let me tell you something. One of the most boring things you can talk about firearms is holsters. I'm sorry, but it's a friggin' snooze fest. Dude, this guy from 77 Solutions broke it down, how it's done, the history of how it was done, how it's improved, how he makes holsters. Now, again, I do reviews. We've done holster reviews, and I've fallen asleep while giving. All right? I mean, it's just boring. You realize this guy is passionate about what he does.
He ain't going to join us. He says, I'm too tired. I need to go run and do yoga in the morning.
I was exhausted, but this guy put it down. So yeah, he's going to see some of my money.
Yeah, he was super fascinating to listen to, and I think it's because it is a passion for him. He, it's not his full-time job. Interestingly enough, I've learned he's actually a teacher.
Oh wow!
He's a history teacher, so that's probably why he was so engaging. He's a high school history teacher, or something like that. So, I'm glad you validated me on that, Tony, because I'm thinking, am I kind of sounding like I'm going crazy over holsters? Because I think that they're usually typically that interesting to talk about, but he did make it interesting.
The excitement that you guys have, when we talked to Snob just after the event, we can all see the joy that you have just reminiscent about it. I use the description drinking from a fire hose. It seems like you got a lot of content and there's a lot of ways to absorb it.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Oh,
so I'm going to move
yeah.
on to Ghost's show. So that was Tuesday, and that's when YouTube was having its glitches with the Hangouts. And you guys we kind of briefly talked about it. Were it off air or was it on air already? But Clover, you guys did the chat on Instagram eventually. Clover's gone now. So they did that chat on Instagram. I'm not a big fan. You do your chats on Instagram quite a bit, Carrie. Do you like the Instagram Live?
You know, I do, and I think the reason that for me, the reason that I got into doing that more simply is because that's where my, when Noir shared my post that set me in all this, that's where it was. So my biggest platform, which is certainly not big by any means compared to anything that's out there, but mine is Instagram. So
well, it's not about numbers. We talk about that all the time, that numbers are nice and everything. And there was a time when numbers were, there's times, there's not a time, there's been times, there will be times when numbers are easier to gather than others, or, size accumulates. But an active participatory audience is always more valuable. So if you determine
that. I definitely have that. I've got, and I know Tony can tell you, I don't know who else, that is on here with us that follows me, but I was looking at some of my posts because I was just going through to tell you I just learned how to look at all the insights. What all that means, I didn't even know. So, and I consistently run, gosh, I mean, if I'm getting under 75 likes on, I've got just shy of 2,800 followers right now, which, mind you, in November I only had 440. So that's how much this, him sharing that kind of changed that. And I understand opportunity and seizing opportunity. So I, kept content going and things, and I interact. That's the big one, is you got to interact, that I've noticed, and you got to answer, and then, go on other people's pages and stuff too. But it's
do you take those live streams and save them on your phone and then repost them on like a Gunstream or one of the other platforms?
I haven't learned how to do that yet, so it looks like you're gonna have to teach me. Thanks for volunteering. That's super.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know how to do that. So, but yeah, because like that Argo J one, whew, man, that was a great one. If you guys got in on that, that was an awesome one on Unity and activism. And then I have one with Isaac, who was out there with us from FTC, Firearms Training Central. He and I did an hour-long one, and he was really good at direct, because I'm kind of a fart and a skillet, as you guys know. I'll get all over the place and get on tangents because I'm a talker. But he kept it directed, and like that was a really, for the 60 or the 59 minutes we spent, incredibly informative. We had a lot of knowledge going through that one. And then the Argo J one was great. And I have both of them.
And I think that one was actually, that's one of the reasons I was frustrated with, and I think Glover's back. You did the, you tried to do Ghost Chat on YouTube. That's when you experienced it wasn't giving the button or whatever. So you guys went to Instagram eventually. But that's the thing. You guys were live at the same time Carrie and Argo were going. And we were talking about Instagram earlier.
No.
Well, and Maj was on.
I think it was, because I was jumping back and forth between.
No, there's no way we were, because I went into that one. Well, unless they went more than an hour.
Because we only had at one given, I mean, I think overall we had like 70 or something that were in there. But at one given time, I think the most we'd had was 17. But Maj was on with some hip hop artist.
Maybe you guys were on with something. Clover and Ghost were on with parallel with something, and I was bouncing. But my problem with the phone is that I have to plug it in, so I have to hold the thing. I don't have like a little holder for the thing. But okay, so Ghost or Clover, how did the show go? Was it a successful show? Moving it over?
Yeah, but Ghost is a Marine, of course, and inept at technology, apparently. Despite all the nerd chats that he's set in, he did not get it either saved to his story or saved on his phone. So there was absolutely no replay, which sucks.
That's annoying. So that's another thing, Gary. So when you're finished with that Instagram thing, it gives you that option to either to let it go, just to delete it or keep it. Up at the top right, though, it lets you save it to your phone. And assuming you have enough space on your phone, it'll take that live stream and save it as a file on your phone. And that's what I was alluding to. Then you can take that file and shove it up onto Gunstream or YouTube and those kind of places.
Podcast, whatever.
Yeah, see, and I didn't realize you could do that with it, so that's a whole new game for me to learn, and I'm kind of excited about that.
And that's one of those things that's worth checking out, because I noticed that my phone was getting really full, and I didn't realize that mine was, I guess, automatically saving some of those. So when I went in and found those and deleted them, I had freed up a lot of space on my phone.
Yeah.
And see, that's great. That's a great thing, because it's just like you were talking about, the one that I sit in with Argo that I dropped in for a little while there. And you've had several other ones, Carrie, that's had some really good people, and there was some really good conversation. And the problem with not doing that and not branching out to other platforms and saving that and getting them there is you lose that archive. So how many more people out there are going to stumble across that and be, woke, to use a SJW term, to what you guys are talking about. So it definitely helps.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. And now that I knew that I just learned how to use IGTV and how to edit videos down to 3 minutes, because I gave a speech in April at our March for Our Rights rally that was, I never listen to my speeches. I never go back and I listen to them. I don't like to listen to myself. I'm overcritical, and that was a long ass speech. It was like 10 minutes, but I went back and I listened to it. I was like, that was fucking amazing. Like, I was on. And so I took a portion of it, and I finally, like, I'm all proud of myself. I just figured out how to edit that shit so I can get it down onto IGTV.
Once we've created content, we're not alone. So we've got others out there that are fans of our projects, or just fans of the Second Amendment efforts. So once a file exists, we definitely have a potential to work together. And if there's someone out there, for example, that has the time and the interest to help Carrie out, or help Tony out, or help Ghost out, or whoever, to help distribute or edit or something, take a couple of steps and do those in their off time. There's that option too. So let's remember that none of us are out here alone, and people that have interest in helping, let people know that you've got some time or some skill sets that you could volunteer.
No, that's great, because like editing and all that kind of stuff, that's not my thing. Now, my thing is I'm an opportunist. I can find opportunity and create anything. So if you have an idea, I can usually tell you how to run with something in directions you didn't know. And the other thing I'm really good at is I can write. So, if somebody's doing any speaking, or they want to do any sort of, recording of themselves where they want to, talk about something that's important to them and they need editing, or that I can help with. That's anything like that. Anything techie, I gotta depend on y'all for that shit.
Right on. And there's some extent where we all shall be familiar, but at the same time, there's no need for any of us to be ultimately skilled in all these different things.
No.
So the next one is Dead Horse posted this thing from Jon Stewart addressing basically an empty Congress about the 9/11. Everybody have a chance to look at that video? It went around the internet.
I heard
definitely. Yeah.
It's an impassioned speech, and it's difficult. This is 19 years later, and basically he's at some sort of what is it, like a committee meeting, I guess, and they're, I guess, debating whether or not the funding is going to continue for the first responders and all the different health issues that they've got now. And the room was empty, and I don't like this guy very much at all. But it needed to be said, and he said it well, I suppose. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he goes every year, I believe, anytime that they have those.
Yeah, and supposedly they've got legislation in the House now to extend it. I think they said to 2090. And then of course, it's got to get through the Senate. They said they weren't sure what was going to go on there, but they were pretty sure after his little thing there that they've now got the legislation drafted, as well as the votes to get it through the House. So that's good, I guess.
Well, being here and having had to go to houses and change the locks because the husband and the wife died, and I had to change the locks on their house, is a lot more personal, and to cut the funding off or to even think about doing it is ridiculous. And I'm glad somebody came through and lit a fire under these people, because it disgusts me, because it's like, oh, it happened so long ago. These people are still living with that. I was there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My neighbor was in the building. Yeah. The entire neighborhood was waiting outside, wondering if he was going to come home, because we knew his daughters were at home alone waiting for their dad to come in from the city because he was in tower. Which one collapsed first? He was in the second tower. Their mom was a drug addict, and the daughters were. One daughter was the number 4 student in the country, and we knew that was all going to be over with if her mom got custody of her. And this is an entire neighborhood: black, white, Hispanic, old Italian ladies, Asian dude down the street, and we were all just like, is he home? Did his car come back? So now they listen to people go, well, it was so long ago and we're going to cut the funding. No, that's unacceptable. So yes, I'm glad someone, a celebrity, did use his celebrity power, as we call it, to deliver in passion speech and made a difference about something that actually makes a difference.
Yeah, no matter how you feel about his politics, I think that it was very important what he said, and yeah, someone had to say it.
Yeah.
I give him major props. That day he stood before Congress and said that. He was my hero that day.
Yeah. And, he's, and I don't agree with his politics either. The one thing I will say that I can respect about him is that he will call out bullshit on his own side when he sees it, I respect that. I can appreciate somebody that can do that. I don't have to agree with somebody to, all the time but I can still respect when somebody's willing to be like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those people, regardless if you're on my side or not, as a celebrity, I'm not overawed because you have an opinion, whether you agree with me or not. But that was great. I mean, hey, he's from here. He's from Jersey. He grew up. He bartended in Princeton. These are people a lot of people in this area worked in the city, man, and it affected a lot. My gym partner, she worked there. She was on the way to the building when the plane hit it. So, this is real to us. You know what I mean? And to the rest of the country, it's not. People were making jokes. People were like, get over it. And I'm like, so yeah, to see him, and I didn't even watch the whole thing. I just watched it for a few minutes. You know what I mean? Just like, and I'm like, whoa, because this is something I haven't done. I've never seen a plane fly into the building. I've never watched any of that footage in the last 18 years.
You don't need to.
I was on the road when it happened.
Yeah.
It really affected me because I'm hearing it over the radio. I actually heard it on Howard Stern. And I'm listening to him. And of course, this is a New Yorker. This is a terrorist attack on New York. I'm within 15 minutes drive of the city. And again, neighbors, friends are there. And this thing, listen, I was so upset. I was going to the recruiting station to get my fat butt back in the Corps. And at that time, I wasn't, the largest pound for pound firearms instructor in America.
I love that, by the way.
I was just, a dude who'd been out the Marine Corps for 8 years. So I could still turn around and go back in or go back in the Army. And I was considering it seriously, like, no, this is not going to happen on my watch.
Yeah.
And then, things happened and I let it go and I decided to do my own thing. But yeah, man, this was real. And it sickens me when people want to walk away from that responsibility because those people suffered and died.
He summed it up pretty well by saying it wasn't an attack on Tribeca; it was an attack on the United States. So
yeah,
it's not a burden that the city has to bear alone.
Funny how we lost sight of that, isn't it?
Good to see them using they're wielding their influence for a positive thing. Unfortunately, at least the only time I ever pay attention is when they're complaining about firearms.
Yeah, it's true. Hey, look, we have a mission. We're on a mission, all of us in this room. All right, that's our thing. So yeah, sometimes we get caught up in it, and at least, excuse me, I'll speak for myself. Sometimes I get caught up in it and leave bigger picture things to the side because I think being a civil right, this is the biggest picture. But other people have other priorities sometimes, and I can't say he's wrong about that.
Not everybody's free country, so the best we can do is continue our creation of content on things that we find valuable so that when people have an interest in discovering, they have something to discover that's valid and important. Moving on, so David Bowling has been posting some of the cards from the Firearms Inventors deck on his channel. I appreciate that. Helping to get the word out there and having some fun with the cards. A couple of posts from the early watch and from the lobby and from our show, and then Sandhills on Tuesdays does his 2A Tuesday show. I think they're done doing the Bill of Rights, right? So it's just a standard chat about the Second Amendment on Tuesdays. Thanks for posting that on gun channels. I usually invite him onto the Daily Gun Show, but he always says it's too late. Patriot, you posted something here about the GOP's been badging you to sign the birthday card for Trump, so you signed it, Mr. Shall Not Be Infringed. Very nice.
And who signed it? Somebody signed it, Mr. Shall Not Be Infringed?
I did, yes.
Patriot did, and I also took part and copied him, and basically copied the same thing.
Because you could leave a comment as well, and so of course, at the very bottom, I did say happy birthday, I guess, but I did put in there for pro Second Amendment president, you're kind of screwing up.
Good for you.
Hopefully every little bit helps, and there are political strategists, and even if they're just clerks or something, somebody's just designated with paying attention to these things, because their job is to keep the finger on the pulse. So appreciate you doing that and posting it so others could participate too.
He knows he's going to get reelected, and he knows he's going to get reelected not because he's the be all to end all. He knows he's going to get reelected because the other side's a shit show. And, we still are not quite to the point where we can embrace a third party to scare him. And so he's going to sit there and talk a bunch of shit. And, the suppressor thing's going to go on the table because of it, because he knows he's in a position to do it. If y'all know me again, because I don't know who's all watching this or listening or whatever, but I'm a straight constitutionalist and I'm a hardcore constitutionalist. And I believe the less government, the better. And, so I'm not a fan of him, but he is not stupid. And he knows business, and he knows how to manipulate the system to his advantage. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So, he could sit there and talk out of his ass all day long about being pro 2A, but the reality is he knows that it's not going to be an election button for him because first of all, you got the extreme right that they're making excuses for it, and then you've got the Republicans are like, well, it's still better than the option, and it ain't going to matter. So, because we're not to the point where we have, legitimate destruction of the two-party system or a strong third-party representative. So he's going to get away with it simply because of lack of reason not to, for lack of a better word, I guess.
Well, there's a year and a half to go. Ideally, we'll continue to evolve and work together and influence the decision makers out there, the people that vote and the people that are looking for stories. So we'll continue to effort to unite as a new media, and conversations like this will hopefully empower more and more content creators to add their voice. We'll have loosely working together relationships with everybody, so when there's an important thing, we'll all pick up the rope and pull together, and as we become more empowered, I believe that'll show people that there's options to the standard.
So I'd love to add something to that when you're done.
Sure.
Are you done? I don't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to. So, this is one of the big things that, if you've heard me speak on this, one of the things that people I think get obsessed about is they want to focus on the presidential seat. They want to focus on Congress, the U.S. Congress. But the biggest impact to the 2A community and to our laws isn't happening at the federal level as much as it is at the state level. And I can definitely speak for many reasons firsthand to that being here in Washington State. And I know Colorado, well, hell, Arizona. All of us right now. We're seeing this all over in individual states. Jersey's a shit show. So it's we get so focused on those federal offices, but and we're talking about elections and wanting to change how we're doing things. And I think that it's important that people understand that you're not going to change it at the federal level right away. But where your time and your energy is most spent is in your community, and it's spent talking to your neighbors, and it's spent talking to your city council and your mayors and things, and you speak with those votes at your local level. And as soon as they start seeing those tides change, who starts to get scared? your state representatives, because your state representatives are the most easily accessible when you start getting into state governments, because they're based in region. And then, so when they start seeing city councils and those temperatures changing, they're going to start getting scared. And then you can change that role. And
That's
now,
when their ears open, right? That's when they realize that there's a whatever we're called, the constituent,
yeah,
that are actually active and alert,
Right.
right? And that's when they listen.
Right. And so once you, and then if they don't listen, then you make your move and you get that state rep out. Then the state senators start paying attention, right? And so your butterfly effect to the federal level and the federal senators becomes, it literally starts at the city council. And we've become such a culture of immediate gratification and response, and then getting spun up when we don't get that we immediately want to go to that federal level, because that's like the end, right? That's the be all end all. That's the answer, is that we need to change fucking Congress, we need to change fucking president, whatever, blah blah blah, SCOTUS. But the reality is that for those people that want to do the work, they don't okay, for people that say they want to do work, they want to posture up with that, and they go to rallies and they're fuck you Trump or go Trump or whatever. But when it comes down to actually getting down there and doing that grassroots labor, then it's too much work, and they back out. And so then that's where we're continue left with the same system. So it is laborious, it is glamourless, and you ain't gonna get rich doing it, I can tell you that. But where you're going to actually start to affect change is at that local level. I mean, look at Maj, right? I mean, Maj is running for city council in Philly, and that's where, and what did he do first? He was out on the street. Well, actually, at one point he was like, literally, that's where he started. But, he was out doing that grunt work. He was doing those classes. He was doing things like, speaking at these, like I do with the, Capitol or whatever. And you got to get out there then and start changing individual minds. And honestly, you're not even going to do it in crowds. You've got to do it like one-on-one, your neighbors, your family. And there's a whole technique to doing it, and that I've been effective with, but people don't want to take that time to do that. And so you really have to decide, how serious are you about committing to affecting change in the 2A community? And if you are, you need to start changing your paradigm and how you're attacking it. And another thing on that, while I've got the floor and I'm not shutting up.
No, please do.
You're like, please let her go. I'm gonna go pee. The smoke.
No. This is why we built gun channels. The community that we're broadcasting this on. This is why I'm, after however many 20 years in this game, still interested and enthusiastic about it, because what you're talking about right now. So please go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Y'all know, have smoke break, take a pee, whatever you need, and I'll be back. So it's, so the other thing too, that I'm noticing, that I'm starting to see that people don't realize. And, we get so obsessed about the constitutional rights, right? We talk about the Constitution, and we talk about, for us specifically, the Second Amendment, but we need to understand the conceptual idea of why it was written, and understand really what it means, as opposed to throwing it up there that, the government gave us this right. Well, the government didn't give you the right. The founding fathers did not give you the right to defend yourself or the country, the Second Amendment. The founding fathers understood that everything that they gave you in the Constitution and your Bill of Rights are your fundamental human and natural rights that you're given, by God or your universe or whoever at birth. When you are born, these are fundamental human rights that every individual has to defend themselves and defend the land that they live on, and their family, defend their families. So when they wrote that Constitution, that the Constitution is the guarantee to be able to continue to support your fundamental human rights. And when we talk about the Second Amendment specifically, we in the quote unquote 2A community become very fixated on guns, which it is the biggest one. Of course, it's the biggest debate, and so on and so forth. But we also need to remember there are other huge components that fall under the 2A community that fall under the Second Amendment that are not being addressed. The right to bear arms isn't necessarily guns specifically. The right to bear arms is the right to use weapon to defend yourself or your land against, foreign entities. So, the knife culture is its own culture. You know what I mean? Bow and arrow hunters or whatever, right? So it's not just about guns. And the minute that we in the gun community can get that paradigm shifted as well, to realize, oh, the arms community, right? The second A community itself is much bigger than just guns. Now you're starting to spread out and help these people understand that you know, what happens, right? I mean, I can guarantee you, right? They take guns. They're going to go after anything else that we can use, you know?
Yep. Patriots, but Patriots effort lately has been to have people phrase their frustrations about our infringements based on liberty and not just focusing on the guns. I think for that same reason, so that we can bring more people.
Absolutely, that's it. And you know, for me as a woman, and speaking from a woman, you know, and I get that, you guys, like on Hank Strange. I was just on Hank Strange earlier today, and it's amazing. You know, you fucking feminist. I'm like, yo, women out there, ladies, embrace being a feminist, because it's not about feminazi bash the patriarchy. It's about equality and understanding that your power to be able to defend yourself and to be able to bear arms yourself in whatever way you choose that to be is a very powerful force right now, and a big voice. So we are a big voice that that has the opportunity to be heard, and so so like under that patriot and the liberty rights, and I'm that is totally my lane. I just, and we need to get away from like calling it a gun community as much as we do a 2A community, and embrace every way that it is that we would, you know, choose to defend ourselves and take arms against them.
Take from Marilyn Corwin of the rights issue, and it's all encompassing, and it welcomes others in who have a similar plight from other rights infringements. So I'm going to take a second because I've got a play host, and we've got people waiting for some giveaways and stuff that are up late, and I forget that I'm here in Arizona, so we're 10 o'clock here, 11 o'clock. I know it's pretty late on the East Coast, so we'll kind of skim through some of this other stuff. But before I do, I want to invite Carrie, Tony, always, everybody else. I think Justin, welcome. But we've been doing a 2A workshop in an effort to get the Second Amendment community aware of who we all are and familiar with each other, so we can begin to network, but also to share skill sets, like I alluded to earlier. We have lots of people in the in our community, our culture, whatever you want to call us, that you know, are potential and have all kinds of skill sets and time. And anyway, we're going to be with Clover and Dead Horse efforting to expand that from just set Tuesdays and Saturdays to pretty much every day, if we can do it, every weekday up until the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Again, in an effort to create it as open a platform as possible to get 2A media together, so that, you know, we can make as effective use as possible of 2019, so that in 2020, when we all have to start picking up a rope, we're not introducing each other or introducing ourselves to each other. We're all united and know our skills and our different lanes, and we can be effective team and not offer bleachers and windows and report on what's going on, but have some influence and affect change going forward, so that we empower not only the people that we deal with, but the people that'll come beyond or, you know, after them, to know that we're using the internet today. We're not watching television. We're not being fed an agenda-based programming from the three-letter networks that are all ultimately run by 12 people on its whole planet. But instead, we've democratized the dissemination of information, and we can use that to not only affect change, but change those political strategists from thinking of us as a punching bag with consistent results to an opponent that they're scared of, and they flee from. And once we've got that motivated base, we can start to attack things like the justification for the 4473. Forget universal background checks. Explain to us why you need a 4473 in the first place. Explain to us why we need FFLs. Explain to us why we need a 68, why we need a Hughes Amendment, and eventually the NFA. Get back to, you know, the 170 years we had without federal firearms laws, and the ultimate
taxes.
The ultimate goal to not be afraid of our neighbors. And that's what we're really trying to get to here, is just realize that we're all in the country that's a pretty decent country. And I'm blabbing here, but I do want to let you know that you're more than welcome, and we'll chat about this specific topic of how to and motivating and empowering and educating people to act, and we'll all work together. And we're going to be working on that a lot throughout the next month till September 20th with the Gun Rights Policy Conference here in Arizona.
I'd love to be involved with that. I'll send you my, I'll DM you my cell phone number too, because you send me those emails. I'm always checking that shit. So
I know you told me to text. I'm just bad at texting also. So I send out those group emails, and then every
I need
once in a
somebody
while.
to babysit my ass.
So Bishops had posted something about the SHOT Show Exhibitor Academy, and it's neat. You know, one of the reasons we built Gun Channels, the community, is so we could have conversations like this and others that focused on the guns and the Second Amendment. And Bishops are manufacturers and developers. They created their own ammunition cartridge and everything, and they make their own guns. They do all kinds of neat stuff out in California, and they're active in the industry. So they've been going to SHOT Show, and they're working their way up from the smaller introductory booths to the larger booths, and they're sharing their experience here on Gun Channel. So they're active in the live conversations. Go ahead.
Is this Diana? Diane, Bishop Ammunition, Bishop Firearms and Ammunition? We've had them on the show. We've had them on our show, actually, and they're amazing because it's pretty much two people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's two
in like 7 different directions. We just went through a post where they were putting together a 3D printer the other night live while we were chatting on one of Dead Horse's chat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to. I would love to chat with them because I'm sitting here in a position. I'm a big believer that, because I've tried to reach out to bigger accounts, for lack of a better word, and all these things. And I some of them won't even return my messages or my emails or anything. I'm like, I'm kind of a big mouth and people listen to me. Like, you might not want to, but I'm a big believer in networking with the smaller people that are up and coming, because I'm a big believer of the everybody eats kind of theory. And I would love to chat with them because I've got a few things going on that are really, I've been blessed and grateful to have exposure to at this level and so new into this, with some extraordinary people that have reached out to collaborate with me on some really cool stuff. And I would like to chat with them maybe a little bit more about, if you think that there's somebody who'd be interested in supporting kind of what we do, with, women that are non-gun community members with guns and stuff. I feel like that might be a good connection.
I don't see them out there live right now, but yeah, they're certainly around almost every evening. So Dead Horse and I will let them know and get your contact info.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Let's see. So we're kind of scrolling through the main news feed here on Gun Channels, and that's what we do on Fridays is we look back at the week. So I'm just going to zip through. Liberty Doll was my guest on Monday, and then she was on this Tom Woods show. I don't know who Tom Woods is. I guess he's some libertarian guy. She was pretty impressed that she got the invite, and she did a pretty good job. I don't know if anybody listened to that show, but I usually ask people the 3 questions: what you do, why you do it, and then how you do it. And I really don't care about any of the other stuff, right? Tom asked her more questions about guns and her as a female in Massachusetts and being an advocate for guns on YouTube and stuff. So it was really interesting to hear, I think, what I asked her, which was my nuts and bolts, motivational, inspirational stuff about why she's doing what she's doing, where on this one, it was more nuts and bolts, why she's a Second Amendment advocate. So,
yeah.
You know Liberty Doll?
I started, somebody mentioned her to me and I started following her. So I'm just kind of getting in my groove with her, but I've been told by several people that I should probably be connected with her in some way. So maybe I'll have you facilitate that, because it sounds like because she tends to have that, from what I'm gathering, and I could be wrong, because she's a libertarian, a little bit more of that feminism bend to her liberty philosophy. So I think she's definitely somebody I should probably,
well, we both know Cheryl Todd, and Cheryl's like such a unique character in the Second Amendment, just who she is and how she's able to do it. And Liberty Doll is, like, in a different way, very similar, just super organized, competent, and again, a refreshing difference from the same old that we would normally seen maybe 10 years ago. Obviously, that's not the change, this the norm anymore. But you look at even, 12 or 14, not that long ago, and the paradigm was the big fat white guy with a beard, and there was very little divergence from that.
Well, and with women, I was the very first interview that I ever did in this world ever was Cheryl Todd interviewed me on, not just on radio, but on, video, at SHOT Show proper. And she asked me, she says, what is your, and I was in, I don't know, 2 months maybe at that point. And she said, what is your first impression? I said, well, with a few exceptions, all I'm discovering are, like, you got the tactical or the gun girls, the girls or the, competitive shooters, and on that side, the ones that are really the gun people, and then like the gun bunny. And then there's everything in the middle is like Cheryl and I, or I guess now that I've discovered this Liberty Doll, where there's that middle lane of us that are pro-gun, but we're not necessarily gun nuts, but we're all about the rights and being out there to fight for those rights. And so I love being connected with those women in the middle, and I love to see that that's growing. You know, but that I think is still a lane that's that has less cars in it, if you like that metaphor.
That works.
So, yeah. So I think that would be wonderful to be able to network up. But, you know, and Cheryl and I talk about that constantly, because I talk to Cheryl quite a bit, and about about those types of things, and you know, because she sees that as well, and I would love to see more of that piece of it, you know, and like from influencers and like the gun girls and stuff. And I am not, you know, and like bunny, whatever. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing you gun bunnies out there. Do your thing, girls. Get your money, whatever. There's no judgment. You know, but one of the things that I've noticed are a lot of those people that are in the influencer side of that, or the content creator side of it, they don't tend to acknowledge those advocates as much as I think that they should be, simply because you know, they don't want to get involved in politics, right? They want to stay out of politics. Well, guess what, kids? Wake up. You are a 2A person. You're in the fucking middle of it. And those of us that are out there doing that advocacy work are the people that are really ones fighting for you to keep, you know, your shit on YouTube. And we're the ones fighting to keep all that going. And so it's important that those, you know, I think that those people tend to acknowledge that a little bit more. And conversely, the advocates need to be more confident reaching out to those people, because it may be that they just don't think about it either. You know?
Hey, Carrie.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to cut you off, because I know you'll hit point after point, but I really want to jump on what you just said.
Go ahead.
I'm tired.
I'm in the bathtub, y'all. I got to get out of the bathtub. So you talk. I'll put it on you.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to go to work. I have to wake up to go to work in 2 hours. So I just want to get this out. I'm tired of YouTube gun guys saying they don't want to get involved in Second Amendment politics because they're worried about losing viewers.
Some of us are too big, though, and really we should sidestep this and backpedal and not really talk about it. We don't want to offend anybody or drive anybody away from it.
Yeah, too bad. It's like, dudes, stop. Understand. You should be motivating your fan base to actually participate in Second Amendment politics. Because when they, and I hear it in emails to my show. Why do you talk about the politics so much? Because that's where change happens, and that's where your rights get snatched. And now the very same people that don't want to lose their followers on YouTube are the same ones crying that YouTube cut their funding. And I'm supposed to care. I was just going to
say that. Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't come onto my Instagram bitching because you've been defunded when you weren't willing to. And now all of a sudden you want us to get involved with you to help support that when you weren't there to begin with. So, and that's what I'm saying. It goes both ways. Like, we as advocates need to reach out to them more as much as they need to be working with us more. So I'm right down the middle with that. It does go both ways.
Yep. That's what I just wanted to emphasize that more, because I got tired of I'm like, what are you afraid of? Your people going to come back. You make a good product. They're going to say, I'm going to unfriend you. I'm going to unfollow you. They'll be back.
Yeah, especially if they tell you they're going to. It means they ain't going to.
They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yep. So I want to get on that. Hey, guys, good night.
Good night, Tony.
Okay.
Good night, Tony.
Got to get up. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks a lot for having us. Obviously, I won't be doing these a lot, but whenever I can get involved, I will drop in.
Well, I appreciate you jumping in. Thanks for jumping in late. You're on the East Coast, so it's super late. And then we will be doing more workshops during normal hours and more, so that we can get everybody's.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye, guys.
See ya.
All right. So, got some posts from Dead Horse doing again every single day. Post about 8 hours worth of open chat. Come in and chat about whatever it is. Get some help. Offer some advice. Clover posting some heads up to some videos that he had coming out today. That was back a couple of days ago. It's a good idea too, because you give people some heads up. They can put it in their schedules, especially when you have a live one like you did tonight. Patriots posting here: no man in his senses can hesitate in choosing to be free rather than a slave. It's Hamilton. Is this getting ready for Flag Day? Patriots sleeping.
I think he posts this. He posts a lot of good quotes from our founding fathers all the time. I really appreciate reading this. It's important.
Yeah, he's almost like they're like accents. He's usually paying attention to what's going on and puts an appropriate quote in for the tone of the day.
Yeah, I try. I won't give myself that much credit, but I do try to get something that's kind of timely.
And I'm sorry, who am I missing here that I need to be following for that? Because I love that kind of stuff.
This is Patriot. Go ahead, Patriot. Introduce yourself.
Patriot in the Dark. I'm a Marine, and I'm totally blind, concealed carrier, and I make videos, and I cause trouble.
Hey, me too. Maybe not so much the video thing, but like, and you have an Instagram as well and all of that.
Yeah, Patriot in the Dark on all the platforms.
Okay, all right. I'm on it. Thank you.
I can't figure out why I'm not finding it. There it is. Little underscores in between the words. But if you type in Patriot in the Dark, you'll find him.
There he is. Gotcha.
And then we got Travis doing his Caliber Corner. That was a Saturday show that he moved till Thursdays, and he's been having success with that. There's another elementary school teacher. Woods is in here. He's a school teacher. It seems like a lot of teachers are willing to put extra effort into the conversations. Always appreciated, considering we know you have real work to do the rest of the time your days. There's a thing about Patriot posted about Trump banning suppressors. Let's not even get into that one this late in the show. And then Sandhill's doing a kind of as he's driving commentary. I think these are, I personally value these. A lot of people do these as they're driving. Sandhills lives out in Nebraska where he's got commutes, and that's opportunity, right? And he's got a concise way of explaining his position on stuff. He's active every Tuesday with a conversation about the Second Amendment. So he keeps his finger on the pulse, and he brings a unique perspective. He's a rancher and, in touch with, whatever you want to say, like the earth or the critters and the hunting and all that in a different way than some people who just experience that stuff on the weekends. And again, that's the kind of stuff I can't reach people that he can reach. Carrie can't. Clover probably can't. Dead Horse probably can't. And
bitch, I'm Snow White. I talk to the animals. What are you talking about?
But you know what I mean? We all have our reach, and I appreciate the people that aren't necessarily getting response with thousands of subs right off the bat. But again, they're willing to put in the time and the effort. And with Clover shows on Thursday, getting honing their crafts and participating in the Good Gun Channels community so that they get some encouragement, some motivation, and some topics to talk about this. Sometimes it can be just difficult. You look at a blank canvas, you get that writer's block. It's nice to have people. So appreciate him putting that out every week and posting on Gun Channels. Blue Steel posted this thing about the national anthem. I'm guessing that has to do with Flag Day. Patriot posting a bunch of stuff he bought over at the store. Thanks for posting that. And I think we're pretty close to the end here. We got Clover's interview with Tony, who just jumped out. I listened to that one earlier. Good show. And we're pretty much back up to a little meme with the semi-auto mechanism. We had a chat about that earlier on whether or not these jerks are like engineering these terms intentionally just to know that it's going to screw with us, just to keep us diverted, saying these little phrases sometimes.
Yep, absolutely.
And then here's something for Washington. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I think it might have been before Carrie jumped in, but we had that kind of telethon. Yankee Marshall had a show at Sporting Systems, a massively cool gun shop up in Washington State, and on the front line in the defense of Second Amendment rights up there. Obviously, it's their business, so they have an interest in it, but they go above and beyond. And Yankee did his show a couple hours early from like a remote from the store. And it was a little weird, I guess, because Yankee's not, like Clover was saying with the Ghost, he's not necessarily super technically proficient, even though he should be. But it was an interesting show. We ended up raising $1,200, and the store matched it, so that was $2,500. We ended up doing kind of impromptu on a Thursday.
That's great.
And that's kind of neat. Gary did his show earlier today. How'd that go? There's a Gary Salinger. Yeah. How'd that go? How did your Foul Territory go tonight?
Yeah, it went pretty well. We talked about Flag Day for the first hour, and then we talked about Father's Day for the second hour.
Oh, I forgot about Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all them.
Yes, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
So that was the weekend gun channels, and like I say, on Fridays we like to take a look at that. On Fridays over at our Gear website store, it's Free Patch Friday, so we give away patches for everybody that orders stuff. And today we did a little something special to what's the word I'm trying to say, to and hopefully get some sales. And we did. We got a bunch of people ordered today, and you're going to pick your free patches. So normally you just kind of give a random free patch, but anybody who's around tonight, I'm going to refresh this page. It's going to start out with Blue Steel, who actually bought something on Thursday, but I am not a stickler. So if you buy something close enough to Free Patch Friday, you're in. So I don't know if can you guys help me if you're watching the chats? Is Blue Steel out there? I'll probably skip around a little bit just because in case people don't want to, they're waking up and coming back to the computer. But the next one in line would be, let's see, out in anybody. Let's see if we got a name over here. We don't, so it'll be Mark. Oh, the gun-toting pacifist. Sorry. So pacifist out there. I thought I saw him. I don't know if any of you guys are looking at the chats, helping me out.
Yep, I saw gun-toting pacifist out in the gun channel side.
I haven't seen him in a while though.
Jeff is saying that Don Jr. is a silencer fan. I'm hoping he's thinking of Don, the son of Trump, right? And
yeah,
that silly talk will go away pretty quickly. Man, I hope Jeff, are you saying that you think the son has the dad's ear and that he'll set him straight and he'll cut up about the suppressor stuff?
That's what I'm hoping.
That's what I'm hoping too.
Seems to be what Jeff's getting at, yeah.
So
Pacifist is out there.
Appreciate that. I'm going to send the link out there for anybody, but Pacifist, you're first up, so you let us know what patch. Thanks, Jeff, for saying, yep, that's awesome. I'm just glad to hear that. I'd like to think that, but I don't have enough knowledge of the players to have an insight on that one, really. Anyway, I put the link out there, and that's going to take you to this Instagram page, and you guys can pick from anything on there. I got to tell you, there are a couple missing. Matt's patch was already taken. I'll go double check in real life here, but instead of trying to open up another camera and do that totally live, I think that'll take more time than it's worth. Use the Instagram thing here that I'm sharing on the screen, I think. Yeah, and let us know which patch you'd like. The AK Bunny. So Suck It Midnight. And which one are we talking about here? Are you talking about this one that's like the Wolverines? It's like a chocolate bunny doing Wolverines? Or are we talking a different one? Is there a different one? Or did Angelina already take that one a couple of weeks ago?
I'm going to step in here, gentlemen, just a moment. I am excusing myself from this chat just because I have to be up early in the morning myself to work. And I'm so glad I finally caught up with y'all and had the opportunity to run my mouth with y'all. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks for jumping in.
Oh, my
pleasure.
Carrie. See you guys.
I guess there aren't any other bunnies, so I'm guessing you want that chocolate bunny. I'll go double check.
He said yes.
There. Yes, right on. So then next up will be. Gotta click on these things and see if their email address is any indication. Yeah, you already told me that you wanted the 3% decal. So this is Mountaineer Marksman. Is next up. We were chatting a bit there. Want to throw anything in while we're waiting for Mountaineer to let us know what he wants? I saw him out there, didn't we?
I don't see him yet again.
We can tell if you're on gun channels, but when you're on the YouTube, you got to say stuff, and then we'll know you're out there. So anybody who's out there, maybe say hey or whatever, and then we'll next up will be. I have no idea who any of your names are. I have to look at your emails, and sometimes your emails will let me know who you are. So, John from Nebraska, is that? I think that Sandy. I think that might be Sandhills. Is he out there? This is pretty late for him.
Yeah, I don't think he's out there.
So I'm going to go ahead and actually write down what Pacifist is the one that wanted the bunny, right?
Yeah.
Should probably write notes so I don't forget. Thanks, guys. And then, so we don't got Sandhills out there. Next up is. Again, sorry, I have to open up another window here, wait for it to load, and then see if the email. Wesley in Oregon. Wesley in Oregon. Well, I'm definitely encouraged that Jeff is out there saying that Trump says a bunch of dumb stuff and that he doesn't usually follow through. I guess I'm just gun shy because I'm using that pun intentionally because of the bump stock, right?
Well, the other good thing is the NRA has not come out and said anything stupid either, right?
Yeah.
They've issued a statement clarifying that, you know, suppressors are constitutional and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they've already been heavily regulated. And yeah. I think that was potentially a big part of the whole bump stock thing is when the NRA come out and put their foot in their mouth. Because that gave him a scapegoat, you know?
Yeah, Jeff saying the NRA invited the bump stock stuff. All right, so I guess we don't have Wesley out there. Going to the next one is Patriot. So Patriot is one of the two people so far that has invested in the future of gear websites. So I had a couple of items. Do I have the store open anywhere? I have a couple of items on the store for this new that are basically placeholders, or you're going to buy something that doesn't exist yet. And that's this new machine I bought. And I think they're under support gear, and they look like this little blue star. So I just kind of put them up there as I was getting ready to head out to California to pick this thing up, because that was like $300 in gas, or a couple $100 in gas plus. And one person already bought the first item to come out of the machine, and then Patriot today bought the first gun channels thing to come out of the machine. So I do appreciate that. I hope that you will be, what's the word? Aren't going to be too upset if it takes a little while, because I'm still juggling to get to that machine's. Yeah, I need to give that machine some attention, but you will get the first gun channel project that comes off of that machine.
No worries.
Thank you very much for investing in the future of gun channels with that. And that gets you, are you ready for this? 1 free patch for Friday, and then 4 other free patches.
Oh, look at that.
So you haven't seen the patch panel. Do you want to have somebody help you out, or you got stuff in mind?
Well, yeah, I mentioned that one patch in the comment. I don't know if
remember. Well, that one isn't on the patch panel, but we'll make that one happen. Okay.
Okay, because I want that, but I didn't want to buy it, so for the same reason.
You aren't buying it. It'll just happen to be with you now. Yes.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah. Sure. If how many people are on the panel?
Over. Pick them a patch.
I'm thinking he needs on panel number.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go back to stupid Instagram over here, and let's open up Patriot's patch panel, which we have a picture of, and that way you guys aren't doubling up on them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the one I'm gonna pick he doesn't have, because that's what I was thinking. He doesn't have one that looks like that on his panel.
Okay.
Pink
but on number 4, there's a star with like a skull or something in it.
Yeah, the dead air suppressors one up here. It looks like a Soviet star, 5-pointed star with the dead air, which is sort of their logo, which is sort of like a gas mask with sunglasses on, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. That's what it looks like. Yeah. Okay. I don't think he has a star on his panel, so.
And I definitely like skulls. So.
It's red though, but that's okay. So we got that one. So then who's next? Dead Horse.
What am I picking?
Pick a patch out of any of the panels for Patriot.
Ooh, okay. So let's see here. I'm going to go with that phoenix-looking bird in the middle.
On 4. So that's AR 500 armor.
Yep, I'm going to go with that one. That's a neat-looking patch.
Okay, and then that takes us to Gizzard.
Okay, which panel do I need to pick from?
Any of them. You can look at Patriot's patch if you want, our panel here, so you can see if he's what he needs.
Well, he needs everything. I'm thinking he probably needs that. Let's see if he has that one. Oh, you don't have him up. Let's see.
There you go.
I don't see that he has this one anyway. On panel 5, the will not comply.
Oh, is that from Angelina?
Mm-hmm.
I think I have all of those.
Do you have that?
Oh,
Okay.
that's the one with the ATF guy looking over the bridge.
Okay, well, if you have that.
Yeah, he's got it down here in the bottom right.
Okay, how about that round one up in the upper right corner of number 5, the one that says Molon Labe Industries?
Okay, he definitely doesn't have that. That's a vinyl patch that was given to me by a guy who was making a 308 magazine for the SCAR that was made out of polymer, so it kind of looked like a one of those 12 gauge mags that are out there. So yeah, definitely nobody has that one. Yeah, they're just giving me something. I don't even know if they're still in business. So let me find this. And what is that? That's Mullen. So next would be Patriot. So we'll skip to Woods. Are you still up, Wake?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what are you giving him?
Picking
as a surrogate for Patriot.
Does he have a gun tube one already or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a bunch actually, probably. There's something like 24 patches on each panel, maybe more. Actually, there's probably a lot more on each panel. That's probably 20 up here, right? So there's maybe like 50 or more on each panel. And I'm flipping back and forth really fast, so Woods is sleepy.
How about the pumpkin patch that's got the kind of gun channel logo? That one on number 4.
Patriot, how many of the Glocktober patches do you have?
I have 2. I have the pumpkin with the center,
So you have
and I have the girl.
So you have the Glocktober patch from the second year, which is the like what do you call it, like a Glocktober girl holding 2 extendos instead of beer steins or whatever. And then you got this pumpkin one that you just did the unboxing for, right? So it's basically a pumpkin, just a line drawing of a pumpkin in orange, a little green stem. I just wiggled the lines of the pumpkin to look like the face of a Glock. So, the muzzle of a Glock. So you've got what we call the dark orange one. And now Woods just picked you out the bright orange. So now you do have, they're going to feel the exact same, but the lighter one will have the 2 holes for orange. So next would be, wait, how many is that? How many is this guy? Is he milking this now? What's going on? How many is this up to? No, 1 more. So Snob, that worked out pretty good.
Let me see here.
Oops. Shit.
It's a tough decision. I saw one earlier that I thought he needed, but I don't remember which one it was.
It was Flag Day today.
You're not going to find any flags on mine, though.
Yeah. I like gas masks, skulls.
I don't know. The snail's pretty tempting. How about that? How about that skull on the top with it looks like a gear?
So that's from Millspec Monkey. I don't know what that is. Maybe for mechanics or something. So yeah, it's like a skull and crossbones, but it's like a gear for the skull and a couple of wrenches for the crossbones.
Different, definitely.
And I got that right from Millspec Monkey. One time at SHOT, he opened his book and lets me take patches, and I give him some, and we trade. So that comes right out of Monkey's book. Not too many people get their stuff right out of Monkey's book. You can get it right off his store, not right out of his book. Right on, Patriot, who I appreciate again the support and the trust in us to eventually get you that product. where am I at now? I got to go back to this page, and that was Patriot. So next up is. Every time I think, I'm like, oh, I know who this is. It's not who I think it is. So this is Jason S. out of Ohio.
Oh, that's Jason Stewart.
Yep.
Is he out there?
Yeah, he's out here.
Did he say what he wanted?
I don't know if he said what he wanted, but he's out there. There he was a minute ago.
Again, I'll throw the link out so everybody's got it. Again, we don't need Patriot's link. I'll get you my link. And then a couple of things are missing at this point, but not too much. He said the number 4 Ohio patch. Boom. So that was something from Ohio. Oh, that's from SHOT Show 2019 from some company in Ohio. And I don't know if Pink gave me that or if I traded that off of Marco. I don't think I picked that one up. Did you give me that one, Clover?
Nope.
Okay. So that's the Ohio patch. It's not the Ohio patch. The star's a little clunky, but it does. Next one up is Woods. This one's for yourself.
You bottom right-hand corner for the new style van.
What? Really?
Yeah.
You don't have one of those already?
I do not.
All right, and I'm also giving you the Washington one, not that square one.
Oh, right on. Thanks, man.
You bet. Thank you. Then comes the guy who won a $300 pair of spectacles earlier today is next up. Clover.
Yeah, he can just give me. He can just give me his. Is that Pete?
Yep. So got the link out there. I think I've seen him on the gun channel side.
Yeah, unless he had to split, he was out there. No, he's commented recently, so he should still.
He
be
said
there.
van patch, but the van patch is already gone.
No, I got band patches. I should actually write down that Woods wanted the band patch, or I will forget that. There's too many things to think about today. Is that somebody saying what it is? Or is that somebody saying that? Oh, that's him saying the band patch too? Right on.
That's the popular one tonight.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody letting me fart around like this, because much easier to do these notes now than try to keep track of this many later. Clover is next. Oh, wait, you know what? Shit, I'm not even paying that much attention. Guitar Man Pete is 2 patches, because that's the free patch Friday and getting well over $25. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Pull a second one out of that hat. Is that somebody doesn't have that tone for their gun channels chat, do they?
No, did my mic pick that up? It shouldn't have. It was my computer doing something. I thought I was muted. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Where did the peace, love, and unity and respect patch come from? Angelina has more than one movie in here. These are from that place in Wisconsin that I went to as I was staging, getting some projects done after the Gun Rights Policy Conference on my way up to St. Paul to hang out with why can't I think of the name of Roosted? So I was going to go hang out with Roosted, and I was hanging out at this town. It wasn't Madison. I forget the name of that little town. La something, some French name maybe. And there was a pretty neat little gun surplus store there, and they had a giant bin of these patches that were like 25 cents. So it's a 25-cent patch that I put Velcro on. But that's where a bunch of these weird ones came from. There was this service dog one that's like broken. You can kind of tell it's like the black edge like barely hit the edge of the fabric, so it's like, you know, they couldn't sell it, but they could for $0.25.
Pete said a G logo stuff.
A G logo? Any of them? Talking about the Gun Channels logo? What were you saying? Oh yeah, that guy's winning all kinds of stuff today, huh? Well, he's not really winning anything. You're buying patches and you're getting free stuff, that's all. Where did he say that? YouTube side?
He said, "I need more G logo stuff."
Okay, so I'll find I'll go get a backstop G, and I'll put that in my notes here that you're getting a backstop G. So it'll be one of the ones that's not on the store.
A special G, huh?
Well, when I run out to like one, my store is an idiot, and sometimes it'll sell things past when it says zero. So I try to kill the inventory with like 1 or 2 left, and then I don't know what to do with them. So sometimes I'll put them together in another package or something. Yeah, I'll throw that out. It's going to be one that either I sewed or one of the colors that we don't have in inventory anymore. Right. Now, wait, now it's clothing.
Okay.
Pete said the green sewn G.
Oh, is there one up here that's that? I'll write that in here. Can I edit this thing after I put it in? Oh, look at that. Green. Which one are you looking at, Clover?
Is that the hazmat symbol? Is that one still there?
Which one? We're on this page or on a different one?
On number 4. The 4C.
Oh, okay, yeah, that one's still. So that, and then I go to Clover's. So that one is, I've done the 1.4Cs for a while. So I first did them in sewing them just to see if anybody wanted to buy them, and nobody wanted to buy them. So then I did them in PVC, and nobody wanted to buy them. So now I'm aching to make them bigger in PVC to have nobody buy them. So I think it's a neat patch up here, anybody says.
Yeah, I like that size too.
But this is one I sewed, and it was an excuse to buy some orange fabric. So the 1.4. Right on. And again, thank you for purchasing stuff for the store. Obviously, you got a lot of stuff. So what did you even buy? So I don't know. Bunch of you bought
a spam can and green Arizona, I think.
Bunch of green stuff. He's turning. Well, he's got to buy green stuff. Some law. Okay, now we are up to this one. And this is Neil in Connecticut. Neil, Connecticut. I think we got a Neil out there.
Any AL or any IL?
NEIL.
Oh, okay. And
This is just like watching bingo, except without the numbers, and nobody's really winning. They're just getting stuff that they already paid for. So maybe Neil's not out there. We'll go to this one, which is. I can't believe I have so many tabs open right now. Joe from Wisconsin. Grabbed a 2-way decal set. Thank you very much. That's some of the decals. Bob's out there. These are the decals that me and Bob were selling at gun shows here in Arizona and New Mexico. Found a bunch of them. I had given most of those. I made a lot of decals, and gave most of them to Jimmy up in Phoenix to try to make a couple of bucks. And I guess I didn't give him this one little envelope thingy, and that's where I made those sticker or those decal packs out of. So we're not getting anything from that one. So that was Joe, right? Correct? Next is Adam, and I think Adam already told us what he wanted out here, right? Adam said, no. Stripper clip, Yankee, or Ace of Spade number 4. So where's Adam at? Adam can have 2. And where did it go? There it is. So what do I go in order? Stripper clip and then Yankee? Which Yankee are we talking about? So you got 2 coming.
I would go in order.
And so to see the link. Oh, so here's the link.
Unless he's out there.
Well, that's Tim. But stripper clip, Yankee, Ace of Spades number 4, or Dead Air 3. So Bob's too good for us on gun channels. He's probably just lazy. So in order, stripper clip and then Kool-Aid. I gotcha. So you're gonna go to which stripper clip do I even have on there? I don't know if there's more than one anymore. Let me go double check because I think somebody grabbed a stripper clip and I do not have any more stripper clips in inventory. So there's a green one here. Is that the one you're talking about? I think somebody grabbed that one the other day. I'm gonna go double check.
There's a white one on number 3. White or glow in the dark.
Now this one here was a sewn one. So let me go.
Oh, okay.
Nightwoods.
Dropping like flies.
So we need to talk so there's no dead air and we don't get in trouble.
The sewn one's there. The green one is the sewn one's gone. The green one's there. So if you want the green stripper clip, that can be arranged. So it is the green stripper and the Kool-Aid. Boom. Thank you, Adam, very much.
Hey, I got a point of order.
Sure.
I only got one patch, and I bought more than $25. So wasn't I supposed to get 2?
Yes. Tried to scam you out of that, but you're too open bending.
Yeah, if there hadn't have been more than a couple people behind me and you said it, and I got to thinking about it, I would have.
I got Carrie in here, and I was like, just start talking about other stuff, and they go, let's go like an extra 2 hours. These people will be so sleepy, they'll just take whatever I say.
Right.
Right.
Well, normally you do that anyway. Nobody cares, you know.
But the green stripper's already gone, Clover.
No, I've got all the strippers. I'm good.
Okay, so what do we got? What are you looking at?
I want the Patriot in the dark. Is it still there?
Oh, snap. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to go double check, but I'm pretty sure. I don't think anybody's.
Yeah, let's do that. That's like almost a one of a kind, isn't it?
Oh, no, it's definitely a kind. That's a sewn one, and let's see. That one is an off. So I did a couple of different colors to see, because I would made up that little whatever, and I was playing with the horse and stuff. I was trying to give it some texture in case, Patriot could fiddle with it, but I don't know how well that happened. But anyway, that has the black, and his is really supposed to be blue, so it's wrong. It's a prototype to play with colors.
Cool.
Hopefully, he won't sue me for having a prototype go out to Clover.
No. And if anybody wants, one of my new patches, let me know.
Well, yeah, I'd like a handful, so let's figure out how to make that happen. So there's Clover, and thanks for paying attention, because like I said, I'm just shuffling a bunch of stuff here. That was there. Wait. Adam grabbed 2 too, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll take us to Gary, and Gary can grab 2 also, because he's $24 close.
Okay.
Grab a couple of those Velcro dealies, the Velcro magnets. Appreciate that.
There's one on panel 3 that looks like an Instagram logo with a gun in the middle of it.
I was looking at that one a while ago. I was like, what is that?
Does anybody remember what that one is? It's Angelina? I don't remember. It's obviously something on Instagram, but I do not remember where that one came from. Does anybody? It's
hashtag. Old. It was hashtag. Yeah, it was a hashtag.
What's the one that's underneath the skull horn that looks almost like Gizzard Gary's logo?
Whoa, underneath the skull. This thing here? That CD or something?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't remember what that is?
Not off the top of my head.
I think they infringed on Gizzard's logo there.
It says at the bottom, it says Elite Defense. So it's an E and a D, and at the top it says sponsors of the something or another, blah, blah, blah. It has a bunch of writing around the edge.
Oh, okay.
Does look similar to mine. I guess for my second one, if that Glocktober one on panel 2 is still there.
October one. Which one? This one?
The girl.
Yeah. October. That's the second year of October, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that's next to Midnight's Bunny that gun-toting pacifist stole?
Yeah.
That's not the bunny. I thought he wanted a bunny like a giant egg with a pink bunny in it that Midnight has.
I have one of the bunny with the AK over his head. on an egg.
This one here that you can barely see is a giant egg I made one year. It was an idiot because that takes like forever. And then this giant rabbit with an AK. I thought it was clever, but learned a lesson that what takes an hour and a half making a prototype of takes an hour and a half to sew each patch. So it's a dumb idea.
Right.
Okay, so that was Gary's, right? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Now we can go to Tim. Tim is out there.
He was out there earlier.
And yeah, so did he already say was he the one that dropped whatever he wanted? He was on the gun channel side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I just sent them the link. So now you're up, and we'll go take a look at the YouTube, or the gun, whatever else, YouTube side. Stick of paint. That patch book might stop at 22. That patch book is heavy. It's basically 5 layers, 6 layers of patches, 6 layers of rubber. Oh, look, Pete wins a bunch of glasses and free stuff, and then he leaves. No, it's not Hash Tactical. Hash Tactical was that like hashtag looking sign with a gun in the corner. I've got like 3 of hers up here. Ooh, there was one. It's this one. You can't really tell on that one that it's a hashtag thing.
So what's up with the yellow G's? There's a couple of those.
Yellow G's?
Mm-hmm. There's one on 2 and one on 3.
Oh, I just was playing around with the Ranger Eye sewing them. So it's like a sew.
Okay.
That's a Ranger Eye. Yeah, it takes forever. I don't know what I was thinking. I'd sew a square and then I sew a G on top of it. So I sit there for like an hour and a half getting pissed that I'm watching a square get sewn. I didn't do very many of them. It was just an attempt because I like Ranger Eye and I'm out of them, you know. And I kind of want to do something in yellow so it'll match a Gadsden. So I never really did anything in yellow. For some reason, we keep getting tainted over to the orange spectrums. So I figure do some yellows to match some Gadsdens once in a while. So that's, I think, what I was playing with there.
Right. Those show up really, really well, too.
That's the thing. You can sometimes just play like this little G, like it hides, but sometimes that's neat to fill a little gap or something. We're looking at like a big patch panel that they're just all like literally touching. They're overlapping. And I've got like these little tiny, one little bullet, or what I call them, Ranger Eyes, kind of filling in some little gaps here and there.
All right.
We were waiting for Tim?
Tim, yeah.
Did he say?
He said he's still here. How many has he got?
1.
Okay.
What did he grab? Tim grabbed, where did I put it?
He had said on the panel. What is it?
So Tim, you're up if you didn't hear. So pick something. Timed it pretty good. I'm just running out of coffee.
He wants the lever rifle.
You bet. So I will put that in here.
You're getting low on those. You're getting low on those, right?
Whatever it says in inventory, probably minus a couple because I took a couple to Tombstone just to see if they'd be interested, and they were like, nah, but I left them there anyway.
All right.
Now we got John, who was one of the recent orders from Indiana. So was John out there still? Thought I saw him out there earlier.
Man.
So we'll wait for John, and then the last one is Snob. Actually, John's got 2 coming, but Snob grabbed a rifle.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide between 2. I was over here.
Decisions.
I know. It's between Gizzard Gary's, because that's probably fairly rare, I would assume.
And what's the other one?
The unlicensed seller.
Ooh.
Also very rare. Because every time, see what happened there? How it's screwed up? I sit around waiting for this thing to sew a red square or whatever, a rectangle. And then it sewed this, I think, and then it went, and I'm like, damn it. So like after an hour, you know, I get it to screw up like this. So it is goofy. It's a typo or whatever. But that's kind of like how those stickers are. They're almost always shitty, right? Where's the Gary one? I don't know. I see it.
It's right next to the, right there by your mouse.
Oh, duh. Okay.
I think I'll go with Gary, just because I need a Gary patch.
Boom. So put Gary on there. I was gonna see if John was gonna pop up and grab both of those underneath you while you were sitting around farting around.
Cool. Probably. I think you're the only person besides me that has one of those.
Yeah, because
I don't even have one of them fancy Gizzard Gary stickers. My wife has one, but I didn't get one, so I gotta have a patch, I guess.
You gotta. Well,
I got a George Grayson cat sticker.
You should have a Gizzard Gary sticker. You won a question one time, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't get a Gizzard Gary sticker.
You did?
George Grayson cat and some other stuff.
Well, I'll get you one.
No,
maybe
cool.
It was early enough I didn't have them yet.
It was one of the very first episodes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't have those right away. I'll get you one.
Oh no, I'm good. I do need to mail your thing out though that we bought you like 2 weeks ago. I'll tell my wife to mail that in the morning.
You're as good about mailing stuff as I am.
Well, it wasn't like you want anything. It's a free gift that I bought you, so you can't gripe too much, I figure.
I'll go 2 or 3 weeks and get to the post office every week, and then sometimes I'll let stuff pile up for 3 weeks before I get it mailed.
Well, I want to take a moment to say thanks. We got 16 orders in today. That is amazing, and it's helping with both bills and to grow the channel, and do appreciate it. I want to encourage people that are trying to include financial stability or the financial leg in their projects to incentivize purchases. And I don't know, I'm not saying I'm doing it the only way or the best way or anything, but I did work. I'm having something like an event like this, take whatever works out of this and run with it, and hopefully again we can all learn how to incorporate some of this stuff so that we can continue to grow without having to deal with this stuff on the regular. But the more audience we have, the more participation we'll get. I think we can all, we'll be baking cakes, we're not dividing pies, right? But again, I do appreciate the support financially and in the other way. One of the things that I did after I busted the embroidery machine to test it, I sewed up sort of it's not really gold, it's like looks kind of gold. I don't know what it is, a bunch of tan colors. Tried to just to use some different colors to make the gear websites G, and it ends up looking like a weird gold thing. So it's not finished yet, but I'll finish it. And I'm going to go through, and anybody who ordered today, in addition to everything we've already done, I'm going to take a look, and whoever, the cart will tell me if it's your second order, or your third order, or your first order, or whatever, keeps track of your orders. And whoever purchased, who's ever ordered today, because I didn't go through and look, and it doesn't just tell me in a quick way, but whoever had if somebody had this is their third order, but then somebody else, this is their fourth order, whoever ordered this I want to say thank you for a repeat order, and I'm going to send out that gold G. And if I can get my shit together, I'm going to continue to do something like that so that people that purchase more than once get some kind of recognition for, again, your additional support of what we're trying to do here. I want to say thanks everybody for patient. I hope I didn't know what the hell happened today. I send those emails out to 33 people most nights, and obviously a bunch of people jumped in today. I think it was a pretty good conversation.
It was very cool. It was, and honestly, I don't think we necessarily ran much longer than we would have otherwise.
Okay, yeah, I really can't tell, and it just seems like we've been chatting for a while, but I appreciate everybody sticking with. I mean, that's sort of the evolution of this whole thing, right? I am not doing anything here to stand still. I don't want to go backwards. I want to stand on shoulders of who came before us and let the next person climb onto ours, right? So I think that went pretty well. We're going to continue, like we said earlier, to work towards getting some sort of a two-way workshop similar to what we had today. Am I crazy? Every weekday. How crazy would that be if we had an environment like today every weekday and just started inviting more and more people in, so that it would become as unifying as possible so we can affect change in 2020. Again, awesome conversations today. A lot of different stuff we touched on. I don't know how much energy everybody's got. I did want to hit that other thing, that picture, but it's not necessary. We can hit that in the future. Am I still screen sharing? I just thought it'd be a neat exercise to play around. Like I say, it's some kind of I don't know what to call it. It's like I think I heard about it during some kind of audiobook I was listening to, maybe about business. Maybe the guy was describing it or something. Have you guys seen this before?
I've never seen it.
I kind of got the impression from whenever it is I was introduced to it that it's something that's been around for a while, or at least the concept, and maybe the drawing itself is an updated one from a previous one or something. But it's sort of like it says, it's the road to success, and it's like a drawing of like a black and white drawing of maybe like an amusement park, or what you'd see at like a zoo, like a kind of an out of perspective drawing of everything at the zoo or at the amusement park. And again, I don't know if anybody's got any energy to get into that one tonight. I'll leave it up to the panel and the audience, since that's what we're all about here, is the conversation.
I have never seen it before.
I'm going to continue to leave it up to you while I get something to drink, because I am out of drink, and I'm going to get some ice.
So I'll do a little giveaway over there. Anyone listening on the Gun Channels or YouTube side, giveaway a E2M patch. First person who can tell me, since I guess today or yesterday, depending on where you are in the country, was Flag Day. The first person that can tell me who first instituted the proclamation, first president to institute the proclamation for Flag Day, and the president that signed it into law, will win an E2M patch.
A little bit of
I'm watching
Googling.
the show today.
TikTok.
What, you guys talk about it on Gary's show or something?
Or
Yeah,
the watch.
they did talk about Flag Day on Gary's show, and we also talked about it on the early watch this morning.
Ah, okay. I guess saying the show today is getting to be non-descriptive enough. Thank you, Dead Horse.
I don't see any answers yet.
Gun-toting pacifist says Andrew Jackson. Gizzard Gary says Woodrow Wilson.
I want the president who first made the proclamation to institute it, and the president that signed it
Do you
into
want the
law.
answer? You want the answer? Abraham Lincoln. Come on. Sorry.
Donald Trump.
Since Gary put one out there.
Donald Trump said, somebody asked him about the flag, and he goes, I don't like it. I don't like it.
You know, there was something cool today. They do while we're waiting on an answer or whatever, there was a Flag Day ceremony. There always is in one of the towns here. And I didn't attend, but I did stop by after the fact or whatever. And of course, the Marine Corps League or whatever, those guys always are there to help facilitate it and educate people about flag code and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, they had a bunch of flags out flying, and one of the flags was, can't remember who he said it was now, and not like anybody here would know, but it was his great grandfather's flag from World War II. It was a 48 star flag. It was flying, and it was really kind of neat because it looked like all the other flags, but you could just tell something wasn't quite right. You know what I mean? It was just barely off.
You don't have any 48 star flags then?
I don't. No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I've got a bunch. Well, not a bunch. I've got a couple from that kind of thing. You know, the days where I know what you mean. It doesn't have the 50. It's got more of a square pattern to it. But
you don't notice it at first, and then you're like, wait.
What I noticed is they're super old, so they're always cloth. Where nowadays it's rare to even see a 50-star cloth flag, like all cloth, like cotton cloth. Like you can get cloth, but it'll have so much polyester and it barely wrinkles, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So Gizzard won, I guess.
Yeah, because he's got the answers right here in the internal. So I guess we're supposed to ignore the fact that Gary's cheating. He's got the answers right here.
Yeah.
Well, I got proof I'm not cheating. Hold on. Hold on,
Yeah, I posted that like right about the same time he posted it over there on the YouTube side. And
if you want to see what I was looking at.
Oh, so he's cheating, just not cheating that way.
Sure, cheat a different way. Like, look, I cheated a whole different way than looking in here.
Yeah.
And then I come back, I said, oh shit, he posted the answers right in the chat. He's gonna say that I cheated. I knew
well,
it.
I gave a very short version of the answers. You did give the full name, so. Yeah, you get an E2M patch.
Cool.
Dragon Man's daughter did a tour of his place. Why am I not finding it? I'll go to stupid YouTube. And try to look for it that way. Is she Gun Funny on YouTube also?
Either that or Elite Firearms.
Oh, I'll bet you it's Elite.
No, Dragon Man is hot brass and bullets or something.
But no, his daughter did it though. Elite Firearms. What is that?
Elite Firearms.
Oh, you're
Training.
talking about yeah, okay.
Because her daughter did one on Memorial Day of her dad's.
I guess it's just Ava.
Oh, Ava, yeah. I think it's on this channel, or else it'll be on the other
In
channel.
honor of Memorial Day, right there.
There it is. Perfect. Thank you. So the reason I'm bringing this one up is it was Flag Day. So the Dragon Man is one of the coolest museums on the planet, in this country for sure. And Ava is his daughter, if you don't know. And she did a video, a tour with her dad. And one of the neat things that Dragon Man will usually mention when he gets to this portion of the tour is he'll talk about these flags here, and I'm almost positive when I watch this he mentioned them again, and that's where I was going to bring it up. And there. I hope she doesn't mind if we play this.
Yeah, in Texas, that one.
Yeah,
So this was a
play the Sean card.
1920 Dodge truck. You know, if it was a Ford, that probably wouldn't have lasted as long. Yeah. Hey, Jim. Jim likes Ford. Yeah. So anyway, this is one of the oldest flags I have. I got 5 or 6 really old flags. This one's made. This was made in Utah, and it's 45 stars. It was made 1897. That makes it like 112 years old. And I got the Chicago flag over there. And over here, if you turn around, Colorado flag. I think that's, if I remember right, 36 stars, Colorado. And look at the flags over there. You ever see a 13-star flag? All 6 of those flags I got from a museum in Texas that went out of business. And they told me those flags been behind glass for over 60 years. Yep. So those are real collectible flags. 100% real. Okay, we're going to put the other lights on.
So he mentioned that those flags are made in Utah. Have you been to that flag maker in Utah?
Colonial flag?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
That place is pretty awesome. So I've been making flags forever, like you said, 1800s or whatever. They got this massive flag on the side of the road and a really neat place.
I believe they've made the largest flag ever and the tallest flagpole, and they hold some records that they're pretty proud of too.
And it's pretty sad that Dragon Man talks about how he acquires things from museums that go out of business. So I figured that'd be interesting too to hear the back part about the flags coming from a museum in Texas that went under. But then they name the flags. I don't know if you've noticed that they name them by, when they change, like a new state came on board, they have to rearrange the flag. They call it the Colorado flag or the whatever flag. A couple of states came on at the same time, but one of those states came on by themselves, they'd rearrange the flag and then it would be called that flag. We were in the middle of doing something and I was screen sharing for it. And, are we going to look at that picture or are we done?
Okay.
I'm actually going to have to jump off because it's almost 3 a.m.
Right on. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for the support. And we'll definitely make something interesting on that machine for you.
All right, no problem. Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Yeah,
Night,
I'm
Have a
gonna
good
Patriot.
jump
weekend
off
and
too,
happy
dude.
Father's Day and all that other good stuff.
Have a good night, sir.
You too.
Take it easy, Gary. Take it easy, Patriot. Rest of you guys, we done, or are we
Well,
digging?
I don't know. If we're losing people, I mean, I hate to, it'd be. I think that'd be interesting with them. The bigger the panel, the better. But I'm game, of course.
Well, if you guys are around, we can always do it again, as I'd be curious to hear how you guys think about this thing. And I'm not going to suggest I can present it well or nothing other than what it is. So I wish I could remember what book it was. It's like I say, some kind of a business or probably get your shit together kind of book. And I can't get it all on the screen because of its shape. It's going the wrong way. But you can again kind of Clover Ghost or Patriot's not here, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's filled with stuff to what do you call it, absorb, but then you can kind of see the path. So I guess in general, your ideal path would, in this little visualization, would be to continue through this path, past all the obstacles and the wrong turns, and then achieve some certain waypoints, I guess. And I think that's what these are supposed to be. So I guess your first one is opportunity. I'm guessing the next one is having some sort of a system. And again, when I was listening to this, maybe it was a video, they kind of describe this either with the video or with the way they describe, visually or describe it. There's more to this to describe it. We're just looking at it. Anyway, then you got knowledge and then ideals. And again, there's lots of different turns and mistakes you can make. And again, the lessons, I guess, are to in an order so that, everyone has an opportunity. For example, some people are able to do so. And I'm just going to use these as examples, but, some people are able to get to the part where they, miss these other things, but then you can get to a point where you've created a system and everything, but without actually knowing what's going on, you're giving yourself a lot of extra work. So the knowledge can be a shortcut to, knowledge alone isn't going to do nothing for you. It gets you through that tunnel, but with everything else, having knowledge of your subject gets you past a lot of this kind of stuff. And then you've got your, I guess this area, if I remember right, was supposed to be where people would kind of plateau for the most part without actually getting to true success, because they would not have had so you can have all your shit together and you can have all, luck and opportunity go your way, and you can be aware of different obstacles and avoid them, kind of like strategically. But if you're not worth the shit, there's certain things that are just not going to allow you to succeed. And those are things you can't prevent, like a relationship. If you're a jerk, you can't change that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, that's ideals and morals there, right? So it's like if you're a crappy person and
you can get to this level, you can be fairly successful in laziness, right? And these are traps also. You can get to this and feel you're there, but then I guess, once you've got all this, then you get to your true success. So I figure I'll just kind of scroll around, and that's as much as I remember of remembering about it. And it's like the chutes and ladders. We got you work your way up here, and if you really don't pay attention, then you can literally lose your reputation, lose all your success. A lot of these books and stuff will talk about success as, you hear success is fleeting, but you can't rest on success. Success is nice, but what you did yesterday doesn't mean nothing to what somebody expects of you tomorrow. And a lot of people will be fairly successful and then not either have a good, got there accidentally or, unintentionally, or, achieved it somehow artificially, but then, this faker route, I guess, or something like that. There's ways that you will be found out, and you not only take a step back, but, it's the kind of chutes and ladders thing, right? You could kind of have to start all over. I don't know. So I'm going to quit talking. You guys are looking at it. Like me, send you. Oh, I guess I can't send you the link. It's just on my computer. I don't know. Is this too much to do in a chat, or is it? I mean, again, we're kind of just preliminarily looking at it. Is this something you think is worth having like a Thursday chat about, or maybe if I find the video, having everybody do like the video as homework, and then Chat about it.
I'd be
Well,
down.
that, or one of the projects like we've been talking about or something. Even one thing that I find interesting just looking at it is the bridge area there over failure. Notice that there's people actually walking through the failure. So what that's telling you is it's okay to fail, right? You can still make it.
Yeah, and shortcuts are sometimes helpful, whatever, but they're never like the only option, right? I think that's part of the lessons too, exactly. And yeah, this is supposed to be that failure can wash you away. Failure can take you over, but yeah, the dedication and determination or whatever, the other things that you've accomplished by here, yeah, then failure is simply learning. Failure is simply an opportunity to know what doesn't work. Sprees, that's interesting. I wonder if that means like shopping sprees, like wasting your money.
Maybe it's the candy. It's not the candy, is it? Is that the key to success? Is eating candy?
No, because this is some sort of a waste of time. Like, I don't know what it's actually supposed to be designating there, but it looks like somebody underneath it here is doing it to you. Not sure.
Lock on your screen.
Oh, that'll help.
Yeah.
Let me wonder what the hell. How would you describe this? Like the path to success? Maybe if I can find it online, that'd give us some insight where the hell I found it.
That sounds very plausible.
Ooh.
Or the road to success, or based on how you word it.
Maybe put theme park with it.
Yeah, scroll down. I don't see it obviously. Sometimes these filters can be handy. Like if they got one that says like drawing or something. Let's say poster. It was a poster. I cut the edges off that made it up. There it is. Look, it's all over the place. Road to success. Pinterest, Amazon. Oh look, this one's all darker and stuff. Yeah, it's just a poster. Dang it. I think it's been around for a while. Like I say, whenever they referred to it, it wasn't like this is our drawing or something. It was like, remember the drawing and that we all seen or something like that. Maybe it's something they use in college or something. Business schools. There's something on eBay.
Well, that said it was called Journey. Journey, the road to success. Maybe you need to type that.
Inspirational poster, brand new. So maybe it is just a poster.
Yeah, it's like 100 years old though too. So definitely old. And there is a YouTube video.
Oh, there is. Okay, so type in Journey Road to Success. Do you think we could go out there?
It's not a long. Yeah, I don't know what the video here. I don't know. It looks more like they want to sell you a poster video.
There's probably more than one. You know what I mean? Probably if it's a 100-year-old thing. There's probably a bunch of different interpretations of it or what.
Right.
Man, I don't like this. Did they change Google or something? Like it's all different to me now. And you don't even see YouTube in here. Like, look at how many other things. A bunch of Facebook, life hack. Maybe it's, well, I go to YouTube though, so I don't know why it wouldn't. I type it in here, see if I find something easy. Oh, look, there's a show that has that picture on it. A little bit too generic of words, I guess.
Oh, okay. Here's a site that's pretty good. Oh, it gives a pretty good synopsis or whatever of. You meant to read it? You meant to read it or post it?
Go for it. Either way.
Yes, sir.
I'll look back on the picture. Hold on. Okay.
Okay. Hang on. I'll copy this. Let me copy and post the link. If anybody else wants to follow along, whatever they can. But yeah, it kind of goes along the trail or whatever, I guess. Basically, this right here.
I like how it has bohemianism.
Yeah, it says The Road to Success, published in 1913.
Nice.
Motivational poster adapted to musical education from an original drawing issued by the National Cash Register Company to point the road to business success. It originally appeared in the Etude, Etude, Etude music magazine published October 1913 and includes some of the unique language and jargons of the time. Great inspirational and motivation tool / gift for anyone, especially young people starting out, new businesses, and anyone seeking success, aren't we all? Just follow the road to success, making sure not to fall prey to bohemianism, shiftlessness, or one of the many other pitfalls along the way. Don't lose time at the Hotel Know-It-All or Mutual Admiration Society waiting for compliments such as Caruso, can't touch you, or you'll set the world on fire. Once you reach the gate of ideals, you've nearly reached the big zither of success. Says this lyrical prize is achieved by first entering the gate of opportunity. People are running through, but some have already settled in to the sit-down life of ease and comfort in what looks like the beer garden of bohemianism. Some manage to pass by those delights to check in to the Hotel Know-It-All because they hold to mottos such as nobody can tell me, or I don't need practice, or I'm a born genius, or yet I don't need system. Similarly, misguided cries are heard on the patio of the Mutual Admiration Society. You're ahead of the age. You'll set the world on fire. You're a wonder, my boy. Or my favorite, Caruso can't touch you. Those who avoid those three establishments of ill repute might still fall victim to the deep, dark well of illiteracy or the spinning, disorientating wheel of conceit. A select few manage to board the train called right system at the railroad station. That doesn't stop some from running along the rail tracks toward success only to succumb to the ugly hand of vices. The spinning fan of bad habits, blowing its victims toward oblivion, or the pitfall of bad reputation. Others fall prey to charlatanism or get tangled up in the webs of jealousy and do it tomorrow. Those who overcome all of these perils will enter the gates of system. But while the train crosses a bridge across the river failure, those on foot are threatened by the cauldron of misrepresentation and tempted by shortcuts. Some do manage to raid across the river to the other side, but they must overcome bad temper, carelessness.
The shortcuts is walking through this river of failure instead of doing a system and just getting past it. Here, okay, I got you. I'm with you.
Right, that's what it's saying, I guess. But they must overcome bad temper, carelessness, shiftlessness, and bad memory. Then there's lack of preparation, a giant rock which the train can tunnel through effortlessly, while the surviving pedestrians must trek across it. So yeah, that's a mountain, that lack of preparation. Some do manage, let's see, where are we at? Oh, sprees, laziness, and bad business methods then still threaten them, until at last they come before two gates. The one for weak morals, remaining forever closed. The gates of ideals, open to the train and some on foot. Conclusion. You can be successful without adopting the right system, but your chances are far smaller, and you'll have to make a lot bigger effort to get there. So that was a pretty good walkthrough, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I heard too. And I think that I maybe watched a video where they might have redrawn this, or did it like I was doing, kind of zoom around a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty neat. So what do you think? Is that something worth biting into for a chat?
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I definitely want to save this because I can't see, I don't have it up, I don't have the picture blown up, so there's sections of that I didn't even notice were in there.
So, we all got opportunity, of course, because we're in this country. And then and those of us that are healthy, able, and willing have opportunity. I guess bohemianism is the idea of what you're just satisfied and
You're happy with just wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. Yeah.
like I don't have a lot, but I got what I got, and I'm happy with it. And then you've got, I mean, can you imagine how many people we know in this hotel and in this society? So the literacy, I guess, is just they're trying to tell you you're not going to get very far if you don't know how to communicate, I guess, or like if you're just completely foreign to your topic.
Well, at the time this was written, I mean, this time this was made, illiteracy was literally a thing too.
It was a choice, yeah. Like I'm gonna either work hard and be reader or not, because you didn't have to. I'm guessing. And conceit, I like that one. That's and again, this guy obviously, whoever came up with this, thought long and hard about it. So I'm gonna think about this one more because I like these that in the way that they're in order, I guess, and like as you mature, grow, as you has opportunity. One of the things you mentioned as you were reading it is this laziness and sprees, and it makes much more sense that you can get to a level of success. And not everyone, when they're on this path, knows that this is the ultimate goal. They just know that there's stuff ahead of them. So when you can imagine getting past this and you've got level of success compared, right, to others, and then you can just kill it by going out and wasting money, sitting around and assuming that something else you deserved or whatever, being lazy. And then the bad business methods, I guess the idea is there, it's if you got just dumb stuff, it's going to come back to get you. You can't truly be successful if you've not paid attention to every dotting every I and crossing every T, right? Mm-hmm. And those are traps. That's kind of neat. I like how they also bring in the weak morals, because again, I think you can get to some level by tricking everybody, but there's just a point where successful people ain't stupid, and they're not, right?
So I'm looking at this. I find something interesting. If you're looking at the Mutual Admiration Society, there's a tether. There's a rope on it that goes up to the hot air balloon.
Yep.
How many people we know full of hot air, I guess, right? But is that a dude falling out of the hot air balloon?
Well, yeah, because I think it's supposed to be telling you that you can elevate yourself with a bunch of hot air, but you're not truly successful.
You're not going anywhere, right?
You're tethered to these people who are giving you the hot air, and yeah, you're at risk, I guess, right?
You're eventually doomed, I guess, or whatever.
You're pretty much floating over failure, and it's not a system, and you're not going to a goal. You're just going up, 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 and
right,
inflating yourself with your own blah blah blah. Yeah.
Right.
I like how they got shiftlessness. Carelessness, I can understand. You can be all the good intentions in the world and just be poor at it, right? Just not aware and lose things. Bad memory, bad temper, yes. Man, I saw the coolest one the other day where a dog is chasing a bird and it's like a silhouette, but the dog is like too far over the cliff, like he made a bad move. And he reached that last little bit for that bird, and the bird, of course, was just going to fly, doesn't give a shit. And the dog's about to die. So carelessness, bad temper, anger can do
and shiftlessness that's a lot of this is old language. So
that's what I'm wondering.
Does anybody here know what shiftlessness means? I mean, I do, but does anybody else?
I mean, I'm thinking that's like conniving, like sketchy.
No, you would think so, because like he's shifty, but no.
What is it?
Shiftlessness is you're not, if you're shiftless, you're not resourceful.
Oh, okay, yeah, lacking resourcefulness and lacking in ambition or incentive. Nice.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like it's bohemianism, I guess. Like
it's just similar. Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Man, I hate this. I can't just grab it and drag like I can in pretty much every other thing. I got to use these stupid scroll things. It's super boring. Yeah. Anyway, so we're really late into the chat, and I don't know what's going on with this. I don't remember him saying anything about the loop here, like getting caught in a rut, unless that's misrepresentation.
No, that was a cauldron of misrepresentation.
Oh, that's right. That's where you're falling into this. So I don't know what the system is. Maybe just a bad system, like the wrong system. Or else it's included in shortcuts, I guess. But shortcuts definitely seems to be this walk down here and getting caught in failure. Jealousy.
So what are we talking about? Getting
the circle
caught in a loop or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. If it's maybe a shortcut that's, incorrect, or if it's could be risk misrepresentation, I suppose. But that, and they didn't really explain what this guy is or what this guy has to do with sprees. I mean, they obviously drew the guy there for a reason. There's not like just a bunch of extra drawing, really. Pretty much everything is to describe what's going on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's neat that like a lot of the places.
Well, a spree, spree is like you're not moderating yourself, right? Isn't that what that would be?
Well, let's go find out.
It's like kind of like
of unrestrained activity of a particular.
A shopping spree or a crime spree. It means there's no moderation to it.
I think when I'm looking at this whole thing, in my experience, you work, you get some level of success, and you got a couple of bucks, and you waste it on some dumbass thing that you really didn't need, and then it's like, fuck, you got to start over somewhere back here to make some more money, and then hopefully not buy some dumbass thing the first time you can afford to buy it, right? A car maybe, or stupid shit, I suppose, that isn't getting you on track or whatever.
Right.
And it kind of is like that, right? You're just minding your business, you're thinking you're doing the right thing, and then, oop, that was a waste of money. Maybe. I don't know. This is kind of old writing. And like you say, the shiftlessness would have thrown me for a loop, too. I didn't know what they meant by that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if their weak morals is the same weak morals that I'm thinking of weak morals. I mean, I assume it is, but...
Well, it says the faker, there. So that's obviously... I don't know what that means.
What year did you say this was from? 1913?
13, yeah.
It's kind of neat that it's so still prevalent today for the most part. I mean, all of it's still... I mean, it's all still prevalent, but even the wording's still very prevalent, for today, 106 years later.
Now, bad business methods, those are chains. You notice that? That's what it looks like.
Those are bear traps, I think.
Oh, they're bear traps. Okay, I like chains.
And then they stop you from getting any further. And then I was like these chutes and ladders. Like if you get up here to weak morals, it drops you back down either here to, I don't know what. Is that dropping you in the river maybe?
I'm betting it's dropping you in a river of failure.
Or all the way back to start one, right? Whereas if you get bad reputation, you don't got no way out of that. Like you're in there and you're getting pointed at, and exit, right? So that's why I'm wondering, the faker looks like your only option is to hit failure. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to be that once you get into here that you're able to come back up, or if that's reading too much into that part of it.
No, I think that is. I think if you fall in the river of failure, they're saying you can get out if you try hard enough.
Sure,
there's people walking out of it.
But these people over here that fall in because they got past it and they got caught up.
Well, the people on the train are the ones that did everything right. The people that are running are people that failed along the way, but some of them still pulled themselves out of it, right? In different areas, they pass it.
Not even necessarily failing, because you can see there's people walking across the bridge too. It's just that, yeah, you're doing a lot more work than somebody who's, according to this concept, doing an efficient system or a decent system.
Mm-hmm.
And most of these systems are not magic. They're like, do good business, benefit other people, don't screw other people all the time. They're pretty basic, do unto others type of stuff.
And then I wonder too, because you've got a couple of interesting things here that it didn't go into in what I read, but when you're looking at weak morals and the gate of ideas, the weak morals, does that not look like an elevator that like elevates you? Mm-hmm. If you have weak morals, you can make it to the top, but when you do, guess what? It's going to spit you out.
Oh, yeah.
And make you start over.
It's an elevator, and it just takes you to nowhere.
Right. And then notice over the gate of ideas, it's got the hourglass, time, right?
Yeah. Well, that's true. And this was original. Well, he said they made it to music, so that's probably why it's got a little bit of a music theme. And this is probably practice or something, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting some comments from people out there. We're not talking to ourselves. So, I guess, is this where you found the description you're reading?
I dropped a link. Yeah, the link I dropped that's what I had read a second ago.
Seems familiar, like it was in a bank or something. If you take it path by path and how people experience each, yep. It's a good representation. People think they're headed to success, but at any moment you might be sideswiped. Yep. And those dead ends, the quagmires that you probably don't realize, right, that you're in, and you probably don't even realize you're in it. It's just one of those things where if everybody's telling you you're great, you think you're done, you're great, right?
So this was originally designed by NCR, is what you read, right?
It was originally from a cash register company.
Yeah, National Cash Register, NCR. My stepdad actually retired from there a few years ago. Worked there like almost 50 years.
And that's where they get the system, probably, like IBM and some of those companies that were technical back in the day were very rigid with systems, and once they figured out what worked, they ran with it.
Well, he went to NCR, has their own school in Dayton, Ohio, and he used to go there all the time. I mean, all my life he went there. But I'm going to ask him if he's ever seen this before. Since they designed it, you'd think they would still have used it in their, their schooling even that much later. I'm just curious if they did or not.
Well,
I'm kind of wondering.
That was a taste. I don't want to keep going all night.
Right.
People want to jump in. We'll be chatting off air. We usually do most of the evenings. If you're getting butthurt that we're doing these off air, let us know, and we could figure out a way to do live again. There was years that Gun Channels had an amazing evening, late night, overnight, after hours community, and there's people out there that are interested in listening. Don't be shy about letting people know. You never know when somebody's got insomnia and goes online, turns into an epic show, and somebody else gets inspired, and maybe Honda, who's getting off at work at this kind of hour, decides to jump in, and so you never know. So we're gonna go off air. Thanks everybody for showing up. I really appreciate and grateful for the financial support over at the Gear website store. Allow us to keep doing what we're doing and potentially start growing here. And thanks to the people that jumped in the chat tonight. I send out links, not every single night, but on the regular, to 30 to 50 Second Amendment advocates. And this was a motivation for me to keep doing that. At some points, I get pretty frustrated that it's, they're getting lost in spam folders or something. But we had a bunch of people jump in. I think everyone was stoked about the chat. I mean, I'm not going to suggest it's going to happen every Friday, but certainly willing to have it in a place to let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow is Saturday. Dead Horse, you got a reloading chat? Do you ever not go live?
I don't know. Not really.
So
reloading chat tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern.
I really think it's helping. I mean, it's definitely been a different Gun Channels this last week. So thank you very much for your help and with your efforts. Snob, you got a show tomorrow?
I do, actually, for once. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I don't have anything planned. The family this time.
So if you're ever interested in, if you're listening to this for the first time, you're wondering what this late show is in the middle of the night, it is a conversation that would take place every weeknight, and it's members of a place called Gun Channels. Check it out. Be part of the conversation. Value your voice.